in here. Tell me what the flow is. Let me know.
We're good to go.
Do you ask me any questions or I just rip?
Oh, give us an intro. Tell us who you are. Tell us where you're from.
Okay,
Tell us
I
your
was
claim.
like, I don't know, Todd. You didn't tell me.
Tell us your claim to fame. But really, I mean, I'm sure you have like, I mean, you're on the Digital Liberty Tour. I'm sure you got
For sure.
some sort of a presentation lined up
I do, I
that you
do,
could
I
just.
do. I just can go like this. It's okay. What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica Williams from the Classy Climb blog. I've been a YouTuber for 8+ years. Made a couple mil. And when I say a couple mil, made 4 mil. Made some money, lost a ton of money. From 2018 to 2022, crazy ride, but now it's more adjusted out, more leveled out. But there's some good things about it. I've been big on affiliate marketing this year, but I'll get to that secondly, right? So, kind of the first things first, going too big too fast, more slowed down pace, right? Because a lot of times people are like, man, I'm gonna keep building, I'm gonna buy up half a city. And what I end up doing is just adding time to the loop. Instead of like so many expectations in a 2-year loop, we switched them out to a 5-year loop. Now, what does that mean? I ended up having a ton of trucks. We lost a ton of those. I'm down to my last like two, right? That were just 100% mine. I ended up connecting with an older gentleman out of North Carolina. It's on a route now. It's been on a contract. It makes $6K a week. After what we pay the drivers, what we pay the gas, what we pay everything, I get like a 2K check every week. Hasn't been missed at all. So, but when people don't give time to something or they don't dig deep to find like, hey, there's people with government contracts, there's people with food contracts, there's people with contracts that can tackle this for you so you don't have to use your resources or time to do it. Lock that in. Now, several of our properties in Detroit, Lord, we done had broken into, we done had tenants overstay their welcome, squat, and all that good stuff. Well, what ended up happening is we just let time kind of shift out. And now two of the properties that I have left in Detroit, and the third one we might pick up on an auction thing, they're going to be on Section 8. So we end up joining another mastermind group, and the guy was like, "Oh, dude, I have a whole construction business in Detroit. I can work with you. I can do your porch. I can do all this stuff. Great business, great business. It's always important to go to other meetups and other masterminds to see that. So now, instead of these properties that had a tenant paying me $550 a month, Section 8 is going to be paying me $1,700 a month. And that'll come out to about almost 20K a year per property. So now instead of being a losing position in that Detroit, we're going to be making close to 40K a year gross in the positive. So that's my little win there. I purchased two, and again, I'm letting it out on the internet, but it ain't gonna be that tied to me. I wanted businesses that weren't tied to me and weren't tied to the internet. I wanted some service businesses that were basic, simple, low tech. And I've been talking about this for many years. And so, long the story short, I purchased, and I'm being careful because somebody's going to see this. It doesn't matter. They had used equipment for their company for $29,000. It had every single thing I needed. All I needed is a pickup truck to drag it behind. And one of those companies is foam installation. This isn't going to be a surprise by the time you guys see this next year in January, February. You'll know if you're on the tour, you'll hear me talk about it. Foam installation. The average price of service is going to be anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. Now, why would I pick up a service business in the middle of a recession, Erica? Because Texas is so freaking booming. We've built over 50,000 homes in Central Texas in the past 7 years. Well, what is a big common problem people are having? They're not properly insulated. Neither are the garages, the roofs. A lot of builders cut cost on little things they could have added that were a couple $1,000s. And now, as a foam company, and again, this isn't private information. You guys can find this out. Biden's infrastructure bill, there's over $14,000 in incentives you can put into a house that the owner doesn't have to pay. So instead of just being the regular Joe Smogo, I'm going to do foam your roof, or I'm going to foam some of your walls so your heating bill will come down. Oh, not only going to do that, I'm going to test A, B, and C. And I'm just saying this for now. Sorry, Todd. I would go more in depth, but I'm saving it for folks. And so what we do is now, instead of it being a $3,000 bill that we were working with your house, it's closer to 10K. So, I'm starting out with the one truck and the one trailer, but essentially I'm brokering a deal for two cargo vans so that they can also pull a small trailer with all the essentials that they are needing. A second company that we end up getting hooked up with, there's some Latino guys here that I saw, and I said, hey, what do you guys do? Oh, they're like, we clean air ducts. And I say, like, explain it to me. They clean air ducts. They clean the dryer vent. People in tech move to Texas from California, New York, and they're like, I've got allergies. Help me, Lord, I got allergies, right? And so this dryer vent company charges you about $99, but by the time they come to your house and your vents and did you check your dryer vent? By the time they tally it up, you're going to spend $300 to $400 per visit. So what ends up happening is these are two easy service companies that you can pay two guys in a van to knock out multiple houses in a day for less than, paying them a salary of $45,000 to $50,000 a year. It's basically $1 million business that once you look at the profit margins on both, it's closer to 40% margins on both. So those are two companies that I basically in process of finishing the purchase on one that were not tied to me, that we can run Facebook and YouTube ads on, because I started seeing YouTube ads of service providers go, hey, do you need us to look at your roof? And I'd be like, dude, why do I keep getting this ad? And it was just because I'm in a particular area of Austin. Okay. And so this ad just kept running. But I was like, if I'm seeing this ad 20 times, the guy or girl that's home down the street and they know they need their roof looked at is looking at it 20 times as well on YouTube. And so there's this big market right here in Central Texas for what we would call maintenance, just basic maintenance. Like, we're just going to hit people with hey, are you tired of your freaking AC bill? Because again, these people are from California, New York, other places. Are you tired of your AC bill being $200, $300, $400, $500? This is not what you want. Let us save you some money by coming and inspecting your home and getting your energy cost under control. Energy costs, gas, and food are the big hitters for next year. I don't think people are ready to hear that, but that's what's going to be the big hitter. Why? You're being told right now that, the housing's going to crash. It's going to crash. It's going to crash. No, it's not. So let me just break it down for you. 42% of all homes have no mortgage. No mortgage whatsoever. Actually, 40%, sorry, excuse me. 40% have no mortgage whatsoever. 24% have an under 2% rate mortgage. Another 20% have under 4% rate mortgages. These people ain't going to leave these houses with their bill for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath being $1,700, $1,500. They're not going anywhere. They don't care if taxes get worse. They don't care. But what they are going to have to manage is their utility bills, right? That's it. Their utility bills. Now, many people say, well, Erica, what if their house gets underwater? Who wants to pay for an underwater house? If you remember 2008, people that just stayed in their home, they just didn't move. 9 years later, they were back right. Now, there are a few people I know who they kept their property like, Erica, I never got back right. I get it. But a majority of people, they got kids, they like the school district. Hey, I'm just going to keep paying. It's going to balance itself out. And so this is why I want you to prepare, not for like, I'm hoping for a crash. I want you to prepare yourself in a position to produce and win. They want to stay in their home. They don't want to leave it. How can I make it more comfortable? How can I service that home? How can another thing in Texas that makes a ton of money, gutters. Like, it was something I thought of, but I wasn't as sold on gutters because it doesn't rain here as much. But these new construction homes, they build them without gutters. They go the cheapest they can on some of these products and services. And so you'll come into their home and you can walk a property and be like, you need gutters, you need this, you need that. What would you like to start with? And then there's a third-party company that does the lending for you. The third-party company comes in, you say, here, fill out this form. Boom, here you go. Oh, you qualify for $20,000. Let's get you in here and let's get this done so that you can make payments and your air bills can be better. Right now in North Carolina, our family changed over 4 of our rental properties to, we remodeled the bathrooms where they don't have a tub. They just have a flat pan and the shower door, right? And I'm thinking, how much is this costing our family? So I'm sitting there talking to the guy. He's like, I went to Addison, Texas, which is near Dallas, for a week training on how to do this. And I looked at all the materials. I'm being nosy in the truck. I'm talking to him and I'm looking at the materials. Those materials couldn't have been more than $2,000, you guys. The plumber came by, checked out the property. He was like, I got to get to another property. He was moving so fast. He left his cowboy boots and his hat, rushing out the door to go check off his other properties. I did the math. They charged my aunt for one of those rental properties, $12,000. If the materials are $2,000, now of course they got to pay the guys. They're flipping around $10,000 per property they do a remodeled bathroom on. Now I went, and this is she did the low budget model for the rental. Now the one we did at one of our personal houses, I think they paid closer to 15 or 16 grand because it had more, shiny head shower, shiny other stuff. But I was just doing the math. I'm like, they had 1,000 reviews online. If they cleared at least 10K profit per property, They're a multi-million dollar company. And so what people are not understanding, these people are not leaving these homes. They're just going to retrofit them to fit them better. Get that tub out the shower. I'm not soaking in the tub at 60 because I might fall, right? So they're changing those bathrooms, right? They're inheriting grandma's house. How can I change grandma's house enough without me losing all my money? Okay, I can get the bathrooms remodeled. I can paint the walls. I can change a few things. You see what I'm saying? And so next year is going to be a really big thing. And I just finished talking about it on my live on YouTube. But what people are not seeing is I live here in Texas and the border is a big issue, but they pass through Texas. They go to other states, right? They just do. And we are busing them to other cities because it's a part of our thing we're doing here in Texas. And so what's happening is you have the manpower, you have the labor. These guys come in knowing how to fix things in general. Another big thing happening here in Texas is land, purchasing land. So we have about 10 land lots in general that we're locking in on. And when somebody said, but the cost, the housing is going to crash, I said, no, listen, these interest rates ease up just a bit. There are builders I'm talking to right now who are just sitting on projects because they can't get the funding. And when the funding loosens up, because it tightened up really tight in April, May, and June, when that funding loosens up or they get a little bit more money in their pocket because they do their taxes in January, they're going to come out and they're going to build out strong. So prime example here, and I'm in Austin, Texas, but in San Antonio, one of the ladies I'm working with, we can buy a land lot for $100K. And depending on the size and where it's at, we can get 3 houses on it. So the 3 houses we're going to build for $139, we can turn around and sell for $340. So one lot is equal to $1 million if you sell all 3 properties. So I don't know if that's helpful to your group, but just doing the math on why people are still building and will continue to build. Syndicators lost their shirt this year in Texas. Now, why did syndicators lose their shirt? There's a process, and many of you, I don't know if you've been listening to syndicators. Essentially, they combined some people together. They bought a property and said, hey, listen, in 3 to 5 years, we'll just refinance, cash you guys out, or sell the property. Well, what happened? Interest rates. And some of them are on adjustable arms. So the adjustable arm was going to adjust anyway in 3 to 5 years. So we had one popular syndicator in Dallas lose 7 of his properties because he couldn't refinance and he couldn't pay out people fast enough. Now, the difference in a lot of these apartment syndicators is they're working with tech people who make 150, 200K a year. Even the apartment syndication group I'm in, there's 700 people. 620 are all tech people. Only 80 are like business owners. So when they're like, hey, you guys, we can't make money buying another apartment unit because they're just overpriced, they went to Huntsville, Alabama, and they purchased land and they built a 319 unit apartment building. And we're just going to hold that forever. And so what's happening is anybody that talks to me about, Erica, the cost of real estate, and I want to buy real estate, I'm going to tell you right here with a straight face, the only way that I see you making it make sense and make money is if you're building from the ground up construction. I can build a house for 150 in parts of Texas and turn around and sell it for 350 to 450. So no matter what someone tells me, oh, you can't do that, I'm telling you, I can take you to north by Dallas, I can take you by San Antonio, I can take you to Killeen, and we can build a duplex for 220, and we're going to rent it out on both sides for 2,000 a piece each side, right? And we could sell it for 375 to 440 depending on how it looks. So when you see people saying it's going to crash, these prices are crashing, it's kind of comical because if you actually know the math and you actually know the numbers, a lot of these builders can mark off these properties 100K and they still would walk away with 100K in profit. So this is just something like when people saw me kind of talking bad about Detroit, I was just like, why would I give you 100K on an old house to fix an old house unless I'm putting on Section 8? Because I can take that 100K and be 3/4 through a construction on a new project down here in Texas. Why would I do that? It don't make sense. Now, is Cleveland and Detroit good markets to get cheap 20, 30K properties? You fix them up, you sell them. Great. They're great for flips. They're great for getting your feet wet. You really don't have a lot of money. They're good for that. But even my property in Cleveland right now, we had a tenant for a whole year not paying rent. And Cleveland was like, we have $10,000. We can give it to her if she just fills out the form. So that model only works in the Midwest if she felt comfortable filling out the form. She got mad with us because we were like, baby, you're getting evicted regardless. So she wouldn't fill out the form. So now we have to, 1, sue her, and 2, get her income tax as January comes around, which is going to be a surprise to her. And I feel sorry for her, but not really. Right now, call Section 8 rapid rehousing. Hey, you guys, we have a unit, 2 bedroom, 1 bath. What can you give us? Oh, we can get you about 1,200, about 1,100 a month. Let me see the area. Let me see the size. This, okay. What about 1,000 a month? Okay, downstairs I have a Section 8 tenant that's paying 700 a month. Section 8, but an older Section 8 for older workers is paying me 800 a month. This one on top is going to pay me 1,000 a month. So that duplex is going to perform $1,800 a month in government guaranteed money. So these projects, sometimes people jump quickly to get into. They just need time. They need time to kind of ebb and flow out, to course correct, to fix. And unfortunately, a lot of times when people don't have a lot of money in their pocket, they don't have time. They get, oh my God, it's got to make money right now. And you should not, in my honest opinion, buy rental properties if you need cash money right this moment. I'm just going to say that. And people may be upset with that, but do not, like, this is like, if I wanted to, like, my tax bill is going to be ridiculous, but it's for a particular reason. Now I could get write-off taxes for the next 3 years if I wanted to, with the big swing I've had. But now that I am more educated and I've took some time to learn way more in the marketplace, like, all this tax write-off stuff will leave you in a position where you can't afford any loans. So I ate a tax bill of 120,000. And I ate a tax bill of 150,000 because I knew I came back to the bank. Now the bank is like, oh, you ate that tax bill? Oh, wow. Well, we can give you this $500,000 loan. We can give you this $1 million loan, because clearly your business is making money. You got to understand the bank is trained to say no. And the bankers keep seeing people say, I made $1 million, but then they wrote everything off and now they say they got 30K. Right? So it's like the banker's like, who do I believe? Do I believe this paperwork you're giving me? Or do I believe what you're paying the IRS? Right. And so you can take that with a grain of salt, however you guys want on that. This is not tax advice. This is not legal advice. CYA, consult your attorney, consult your accountant, consult your brandies. Don't do what I'm doing. I'm just telling you an example of why I'm doing it for the market that we're in. Right. And Texas is one of those states where you got small little country banks. You come in and you show them you pay taxes. He's like, whatever you need, baby, what you want? Boom. I need this. I need this loan. I need to go. I need equipment loans. And again, this is not financial advice, but if you're going to notice next year, there are going to be all these companies texting you and, hey, would you like a loan? Would you like some money? And only tell them you want an equipment loan only. I only want equipment loan, because equipment loans are one of these things that are crazy enough. You can get up to $500,000 in equipment loans and it's like a blink of an eye. Nobody bats an eye. But you got to be smart enough to make that equipment work. That's the best way I can say that for that. But what was the other thing I was going to tell you guys? I'm trying to think. Boy, brain went. Service businesses. We talk service businesses, right? And then over. Oh, the conferences, the tour. Why am I doing the tour this year? I'm big a believer on stirring up the energy and stirring up the waters and moving around the country, because to kind of get your eyes on the ground and partnerships and all that other good stuff. And so every year I do an event in Texas, and I was like, I love my events in Texas, but I also want to get out on the road because we have such huge sales in New York and California and in the Midwest and in Florida. And so the part of us doing this tour this year is really like, our ultimate goal is showing you guys how powerful affiliate marketing is. So I started a separate Instagram channel, and I'm just marketing Legendary Marketer. This is something you guys have been seeing me market on my channel a bunch. It's like a $15, 14-day challenge, right? 15-day challenge. And there are people within that group that within 8 months have made over $4 million. Now, what's happening? Why are so many people drawn to this 15-day challenge? Why are people caring about this? And it's because people don't know digital skills. They don't know digital skills. Now, what do I mean they don't know digital skills? 2019 to 2022, everybody Black was like, yo, get my course, learn all these skills. Well, now you have, and this is no disrespect, because I know this is a very diverse audience, and I have all diverse people that buy my stuff and talk to me. You have like white women who've been at home chilling, all of a sudden being like, hey, the inflation, I need to figure out a way to make income. You have older white men, hey, I need to make some money. I need to figure this out. And so some of the people who've actually purchased, and I've made like 30,000 off of Legendary Marketers so far in like the past 4 months, have been white people, middle-aged white people who are like, I don't know how to post on Instagram. I don't know how to do email marketing. I don't know how to do freelance digital marketing. What is that about? And you got to realize every day you get on Facebook, right? You get on Facebook and you look around your friends, they're showing you soccer camp stuff. They're showing you chairs and tailgating photos. And Todd Milley shows a lot of golf, right? Todd Milley could literally every couple of days post a link on some kind of golf material. He's using his gloves, his hat, his something. And you could click the link because you want to golf like Todd, right? Because I've started golfing more this year. Like I've really kind of pushed more into my hobbies because it helps you get creative. So golfing, me doing private playing lessons, and also me, going out this particular area, you literally can start putting these links in your Instagram, in your Facebook, because people are being nosy and watching anyway. And I tested this theory out before I even messed around with Legendary Marketer. I started putting affiliate links and talking about grills and talking about football teams on my Facebook page. And guess what? People clicked them. People bought them. Somebody bought a $600 grill off my page. It was crazy. I was like, who did that? Look, she said people golfing because of Charles. Man, I golfed at private school. I'm going to give it to Charles, but I did golf at private school. But I knew that was coming. Why was that coming, you guys? And this is why demographics are so important and people skim over them. We have the median age of African American and Latino people is 33 for African Americans and 32 for Latinos. The median age for white people is 55. The 20% of all white people are over 65 years old. So you have to get in your mindset right now is, where can I either service young minority people, or where can I service? Now, what do I mean service? Buy a business from, figure out housing for, figure out something for older white people, right? And this is just math. This isn't about race. It's like just math. Right. So this is why you're going to see this increase of, this is why you're going to have to figure out a plan for your family. So I posted a post on my wall about how living assistance is $8,000 a month. People have not figured out where their parents are going to go, and their parents don't care. Their parents are walking around or working late in life. They don't care because they haven't thought about it that way. But one stroke, one heart attack, one hip fall, one whatever, now you have to be front and center on how do you care for your elder parents. Right? So I'm just trying to, with this digital liberty tour, with several things, I'm just trying people to get to understand, like, cool, this phone, this Instagram, this TikTok, this YouTube, that is great. But the big money is going to be in service businesses that are low tech, that big companies don't care about. There's several YouTubers, Anthony Pompeo, all these people that made a ton of money off YouTube. I'm talking about $3, $4, $5 million, but you see them deploying the money into small service businesses because they know that business can make 1.5 million if I have 1 or 2 trucks and 2 or 3 guys. I got a guy who's 65, 70 years old, who's the manager. I'm going to pay him $75,000 a year to $100K a year, right? Because he's basically running everything, paperwork, payroll, everything. And then I'm going to have 2 young guys who are in their young 20s or mid 30s, going to pay them about $50K a year, 55, maybe 65. Here in Texas, they're kind of moving it up a little bit. And I'm going to get those guys running their butt out, making deals, doing work, keep them busy. Let them have their weekends off, right? Let them have their weekends off and send them to conferences every quarter so that they improve their skills. I'm going to give them t-shirts, cups, mugs. I'm going to put them in golf classics. That's what I did at my last business. The highest thing my former manager was so happy about is I paid for him 2 golf classics. He's out there taking pictures. He's excited. You got to realize some people are absolutely okay with working a job as long as they're busy and they're consistent and they feel like they're getting benefits. So this YouTube money, this internet money, it's going to be your easiest money you'll ever make. But if I could go back in time, I would have took that $1 million I invested in trucks and real estate, and I partnered with people. I'd have took that $1 million and I'd have bought 2 or 3 Colleen rentals, made them Section 8, and I'd have took that other money and I'd have put it into a few service businesses, because I had been offered like 4 different businesses in the past 3 years. Hey man, just buy my painting company. My wife's pregnant. We're moving back to Washington State. Hey, here, buy this company. I'm so busy. I can't take it. I just had a lot of offers and I just turned them down. The busier you get, you have to be really focused. And I will never start another business, I tell people, unless I have a CEO that's running it, because most people only want like $75K a year, y'all. Like there's a Hispanic man I know right now in San Antonio. He is the happiest he's ever been in his life. He was in prison for like 10 years for murder, but he's a really great hard worker. He's a service manager, and they gave him a project manager position, and they pay him like 85,000 a year. And he works in the office mostly in paperwork and stuff like that. And he can work from home. He's so happy, y'all. He was like in tears telling us, like, they gave me a manager position. Do you realize I was in jail for murder? Like, he done married a woman with 3 kids. He was like, I'm raising somebody other man's kids, but he's like, I'm so happy because the whole time I was in jail, I missed all my kids growing up. So now I'm helping her with her 3 kids, even though he's older now. He doesn't want to have more babies, but he's like, it's the happiest he's ever been in his whole entire life, y'all. 85K a year. The happiest. And you want people like that on your team. You want people like, they want a hat, they want a frisbee, they want coffee mugs, they want stickers, they want shirts. Baby, shoot, I'll buy y'all boots, whatever else y'all want. Whatever else y'all want, I will buy it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be mindful that this is a route that many of these YouTubers you're seeing on here, they're moving towards. Like, the digital money's good. Don't get it twisted. It has ebbs and flows. But having a business that's not tied to your face and your name and, oh, I'm mad with you, or I'm trying to counsel you, or I'm trying to sue you and all this other silly mess is priceless. It's priceless. Again, if I can pull 430,000 out of these other 2 little service companies next year a piece, I could care less. Like, again, this is all in the context of, I'm going to go have children next year. I'm going to go be busy, and I'm doing the tour the first part of the year because the second half of the year, your girl going to be down. Okay. So it is what it is. And so for me, I've been on YouTube 9 years. I don't have to be on YouTube forever. Like, my goals have changed. My life has changed. My loved ones, you know what I mean? Like, I'm with someone who's a very private person. They don't enjoy the limelight. They're like, see it, but they're like, I don't particularly care about that, you know? So you have to be mindful of that at all times. Christy said, and again, I took my glasses off, but yeah. Is there a specific service business you would recommend? You know, I don't. So I have a course called Middleman to Millions, and it's really super cheap. And what I've done is I've like given you examples of a roofing company. I've given you examples of cleaning businesses. I'll be speaking in Las Vegas, February 28th at the Cleaning Biz Network conference. And then I'll have my own digital real estate's like the second and third conference. And I'll be talking about digital liberty, land flipping. I'll have Acre Boys come up. I'll have Financially Free D come talk about credit, all that good stuff. And so essentially, I tell people, there's countless low tech businesses. It just depends on what you're thinking. So I joined a group called Apex Entourage. And the reason I joined them is like, every guy I met in there was like, frat bro, what's up, man? What's up? Right. And I would talk to them and I'd be like, how'd you start your business? How'd you start your business? And they would all say the same stuff. Man, I got a 20K credit card. I hired a girl to answer the phones, just set up appointments. I hired a guy who could do the work, and I just ran ads, or I did whatever type of marketing needed to kick it off the ground. That was it. Right? That was it. And so that what happens is, we don't lack knowledge, we lack courage. And there's no disrespect to you or anybody. Like a lot of times, if we want to figure out what date Usher is playing in Las Vegas, and we need to find ourselves a $500 seat, we will do everything in our power to go find that $500 seat that Usher is playing. Right? We'll find it. We'll be searching on the internet. These basketball players, you don't think these girls research these basketball players? Come on, man. They research them, right? You don't think these people research these football players? I'm NLI certified. Only reason I became NLI certified is because I ended up getting on the phone call with 2 former NFL players. One dude gets a disability check for $10K a month. Another dude gets a check for, I think it's $12K a month. And both of them had baby mamas who they went to court and they had full custody. They had no plans to do this. They got some fancy cars, a kind of a, FU house money, cheap house they bought after their NFL career. And they're both sitting here like, what do I do? And I'm like, baby, you're an NFL retired player. If you don't take your ass onto this Instagram and start marketing products and services and documenting when you work out, because they still both work out like crazy, go film yourself working out. Go film yourself doing a few things. There are several kids. There's a running back from North Carolina, ECU, where I went to college, and he got in trouble for like drunk driving in a fight. And he was never really able to get back in the NCAA school system. He made over $2 million within 2 years after that, because he came up with the hip hop timer preacher. What's his thing? You want it as bad as you want to breathe. And his video went like 20 million viral. That kid's never had a year where he hasn't made $1 million. And he only got to be on a Seattle Seahawks for like maybe 6 months. But he never was able to get back into NCAA. And so you have all these people whose kids who are in college and they're so focused on college, but the math is against them. I want them to make it to the NFL. I really do, but the math is against you. So while you have this platform, while 3,000, 300,000, 200,000 people are following you on Instagram, learn the rules so that you can turn around and be marketing your business and affiliate marketing. It's too simple. Now you're gonna say, "Where if I'm not an NFL player, I'm not a famous person, what? You don't have to show your face on this Instagram." Do you know many people have these travel channels where they're showing you recycled clips of people's stuff, and then they go, "Hey, you want more information? Click the link in my bio." Hey, what hotel is this? Click the link in my bio. Now you click the link in their bio, you go to travel, you go to their website. They usually have a long list of stuff, right? And you click on the different pictures. That click is taking you to TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor pays per click. So imagine that person getting 100,000 clicks because you want to know what hotel is that? Where is that? Is that Bali? Is that Indonesia? Is that overseas? Because the thirst for people wanting to know where somebody's going is at all-time highs. All right. So I'm currently working with a particular doctor on some blood work, and he has unique supplements. And I've seen multiple people go through his program losing 80 pounds. And all they're taking is supplements. All they're taking is vitamins that they're deficient in. And their body's just dropping the weight, right? I'm already telling you my game plan, because I tell people all the time, don't mean they're going to do anything. I'm going to track myself for the next 90 days, showing the blood work, showing the paperwork, showing which supplements I'm taking. And as I drop weight or as I look better, hey, however it works, I'm going to track it. And I'm going to have an ebook that says, hey, you want the list of what I did? Here the ebook. You want the supplements? Here the ebook. And inside the ebook is going to have what? Links. You're going to click them links. And then what? Y'all already know how this go. You see this play out every day on Instagram. You can figure out if you want to do it or not, right? That's right. Everybody watches Bruce Lee doesn't mean they can do karate. Yeah, you're just documenting the process. Right? It's just all you're doing is documenting the process. People are really overthinking this. And like, even for Instagram right now, I'm running ads on one page. I think I pay $5 a day. I have like 1 or 2 signups every single day. So again, you have to determine which route is best for you. And if somebody were to ask me, Erica, what should I do for 2024? I'm going to tell you digital. If you're just like, Erica, I'm broke. I'm going to tell you digital. I'm going to tell you get affiliate marketing, go digital. If you have some money or you moving around with 20, 30K, maybe 40, 50K, it's not enough for you to do new construction yet. I would tell you buy a service business. That way that business is generating income. And one of the most powerful things is when I had 10 trucks going at one time and the bank is running $500,000 through the bank a month, banks were like, whatever you want, baby. Have a baby by me, baby. Be a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? They were like, whatever you like. But when I have low cash flow, they're like, oh, we got to look at your paperwork. We got to look at your bank statements and all the other stuff. Again, I sat somewhere and I told somebody, I'm like, dude, I have 40K running through this account. The average American makes 40K a year. 75 million of them do. You're telling me I'm making 40K a month through your bank and you're not going to give me money? Okay, well, you can close my bank account. I'm going to go across the street. And quickly that man changed his mind. Oh, no, let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can work out today. I'm at a bank so small here in local Austin. It's so small. And there's only 7 branches in the whole of Texas. I had an account. I don't even know. I had something run through the account and the account went negative by like $1. They gave me a call. They're like, Miss Williams, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Is everything all right? Yeah, it's all good. I just want to let you know one of your accounts went negative $1. I was like, oh my God, which account, right? I'm playing along with them because I'm like, why are they so serious? They're like, if you need anything, if you need any loans, you need any merchant account services, you come on in. We're going to get you set up. That's how small that bank is. They went negative $1 and I got a phone call. I know Bank of America ain't calling y'all. I know Wells Fargo and all them people ain't calling y'all. I know Truist didn't call you, but this little tiny bank, hey, do you need a loan? What you need? Let us know. Let us provide. The branch manager, y'all. What do you need? Is everything okay? You know what I'm saying? So you guys got to understand, how different that is. So somebody said, where do we buy service businesses? Cherry, you can go right now on Facebook Marketplace. There'll be people selling their whole equipment, their truck, their everything, the shirt off their back. You got to realize there's a book called E-Myth Revisited. The average person that starts a business is really just a technician. They really just like doing hair. They like driving a truck. They like doing plumb work, but they are not a good business owner. And so some of these people have had businesses before and they're on the verge of losing them. And so if you come in and like, hey man, I'd love to pay you like $100K a year to run this business, and I'll run all the ads. I'll make sure the payroll and the insurance goes through me. If you could just help and get it off the ground and run it and get us like 2 more staff, like we'll really get this going. It's really that simple. Now you can go take it to another level and go buybizsell.com. And buybizsell.com has where people are selling their business. Now, here's the problem with buybizsell.com. Sometimes you have brokers on there who are like hard nosing it. But you also have business owners who are delusional, right? I want somebody who's like, oh, I need the money Thursday. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're going to buybizsell.com and they're selling a grocery store, they're selling a gas station, they're selling whatever, they think, and again, this is like most businesses, like if, as long as I can make enough money to keep my staff and keep me running, they'll run themselves into the ground. Do you know what I'm saying? They'll run themselves into the ground. But if I go on Facebook Marketplace, somebody's like, yo, give me 10K for this truck. I need it. I need it gone tomorrow. Give me 10K for this boat. I need it gone tomorrow. Do you understand? You could go put a boat at the dock and put it on boatsetter.com and make $200 every hour it's rented out. Like people literally do. There's kids here at University of Texas who aren't rich, because University of Texas is for rich people. You are confused if you think it was a regular university. Kids from New York, California, LA out here at this university driving Range Rovers and G-Wagons. Now you're a regular local Chuck nobody. They'll go buy a boat, put it on the water and be like, I'll captain your boat for 6 hours. Why do they want a captain? Because half the time it's just a bunch of sorority girls or a bunch of drunk people renting the boat. So now you just got to be chill on the boat while you're driving it. And you're making $200 an hour for the next 4 hours. You just got to go clean the boat off and make sure they don't throw up on your boat. Pay for the gas. Right? So people overcomplicate things and you really don't have to. It's really that simple. And there's this quote from this movie where the guy's like, what's the biggest lie you ever heard? It's not that simple. And he said, oh, really? He's like, no, that's just it. It is that simple. It is that simple. Like if someone gets on the phone with me and tells me, hey, I've got 20K in my pocket, but I can only do this or that. I go, you could do ticket resale. You could buy a bunch of concert tickets. You could have bought Beyonce tickets all year long and sold them last year. You could have bought, and you can go check out Made 5 for that. He's on Instagram. He's a classic climber, but like literally you could have just rotated that money in and out all year long off that same 20K off that credit card. I literally was in a group in 2019 through 2021. And the guys there, he basically helped you get 100K in funding financing, right? And a lot of them were foreigners from Australia, Canada, just trying to get that American dream, right? And they get it, right? They got 100K, but they don't know what to do. What's up, John? I see you, John. What's good? And they don't know what to do. So these guys, he was like, hey, you guys, let's go buy these 10 properties in Columbus, Ohio, and clean them up and sell them. And he was able to do that multiple times. So they built an $8 million real estate fund in Ohio based on him helping like 300 guys get their credit scores up, make 100K. You guys got to understand, like it is that simple. And it just depends on what's your thought process on it. Because really being an entrepreneur is just handling stress. And the key is this past year, and because I started a Facebook group, Charles, I don't know if you know about it, but I teach in the digital real estate stuff I teach in class. I'm literally doing it. So I started a Facebook group called Breaking Into Tech Careers. It has it might be 37,000 today. 36,000 people subscribe to it. It's one of the biggest, fastest growing things. It's only been 4 months. Absolutely free, open. And guess what? We literally have a sales guy and we have 2 VAs that go in there every day communicating via the DMs and conversations with members in that Facebook group. If only 5,000 people buy a course or product that's on our list of affiliates for tech-related careers, we will make $1 million. Simple as that. If 10,000, because I really believe this group by the next year, by April, because I believe the government's going to be like, oh, we were in a recession in January. They're going to wait all the way to January and be like, oh yeah, we're in a recession. We're better now. There's going to be this push to, I better go get some careers, right? I better go get some trades. And so it'll be like 100,000 people in there at some point. And so if I can get the guys to get me 20,000 sales out of there, you do the math, man. We're talking about $4 million. So again, let's not overcomplicate it. Facebook groups are not overcomplicated. We let them rock. They do a lot of conversation on their own. What else? Service businesses aren't overcomplicated. Now, somebody's going to say, Erica, man, you do a lot, man. You do so much. I laugh because I nap every day for about an hour and some change now. Like it's on my calendar. I go Tuesday, Thursday, work at my trainer. Then I go nap on the couch. I take a lot of deep breaths. I get a massage every week. I get a facial every other 2 weeks. I go on a vacation every month for a week. And now people don't realize this, but they'll be like, Erica, you always on YouTube. I'm like, yeah, but you don't know where I'm at. I always got a background on. Next 2 weeks, I'm going to be in Miami, and then I'm going to be in the Carolinas on at a beach house, a 20-bedroom, 20-bath beach house with a bunch of my family. I go on vacation every month. Now you're going to say, that's just too much, Erica. That's too much. No, I know what it's like to overwork and burn yourself out. During the pandemic, I was like going hard, going 10 miles an hour. And I realized, guess what? No, you still can get all the things you want done and accomplished by taking a vacation every week because you work really hard, getting a massage every Friday. Everything still gets done. Why? Because of automation. There's no emergency. Like, let's be very clear. There's no emergency that can be handled in a Facebook group. There's no emergency with the truck. The truck is put with a very capable older businessman right now. It goes on a very short route delivering chicken. And it makes $6,000 a week. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not overcomplicate this, really. I really want to be honest. And so many people think, well, Eric, I see you doing YouTubes all the time. You're doing lives. I'm like, yeah, because I'm on a ramp up. I literally was going to take the last 6 months of this year off as part of a group I'm in, Mastermind group. But they were like, no, we're going to go 100 days hard for the rest of the year. Everybody in the group, let's go 100 days hard. And I laughed and I was like, you know what? I'll do it. And not only will I do that, I'll also do a mini tour next year. Now you're going to see me do about 10 tour dates. But you're also going to see me, I'm going to spend 2 weeks in Africa, 2 different countries. I'm going to spend 2 weeks in Croatia and another part of Eastern Europe. I'm going to spend another 2 weeks in another part of Asia. So this thought process that you have to work like a Hebrew slave and burn yourself out is false. The whole hustle culture doctrine is false. Now, do I believe the first 2 years, 2 or 3 years, you need to kind of get some grind in and put some work in? For sure. But if you can actually write down how many, like, let's just do basic math. Hey, I want to have a post a day or whatever, right? There's 365 days a year. If I put one post a day and I just need to come up with 365 ideals for a post, right? What's the overall theme of my company, right? I'm going to use Brandy as an example. Keep it simple. I've done this a million times. I tell y'all this all the time. Brandy is an accountant, right? Or a tax professional combination. January through April, she already know what time it is. All her content's like, get them taxes done. Get them taxes done. Get your paperwork right. Let's go on to next year. Boom, boom, boom. Are you missing out on deductions? Boom, boom, boom. The summertime and the fall is her doing the slow drumbeat of, did you get your deductions in? Did you need to amend your taxes? Oh, did you check for this? This is the newest tax, thing they have. This is the newest tax deduction. Is your business ready to qualify for banking income? Like, again, she could carve that out in 20 minutes. It's not overcomplicated. Like, people overcomplicate it, right? What is your overarching theme? All right. For one of my Instagram channels, the overarching theme is just digital real estate. I literally went through my phone, y'all. I did like this. This is what got old people hands. Went through my phone and I literally looked at videos that I've already vacations I've been going on every week for a month, once a week, once a month. And I literally just take 5-second clips and then I put words over the screen. That's it. Hey, you want to learn how to do this? Boom, boom. Why? Why am I using vacation clips? Because people want a vacation. They see vacation, they get so thirsty. They see cars, they get thirsty. I was going to buy a 2-seater Porsche for my birthday. And I realized, girl, you're going to be big as hell and pregnant. What you going to do with a 2-seater Porsche? You're going to need a 4-seater Porsche. Right. And so, like, you have to understand that the thirst people have to see fancy cars. Like, people are like, Erica, where's your big, ridiculous house and fancy cars? Because you made all this money. And I'm like, don't you see me taking my whole family on vacation? Don't you see me renting whole beach houses for my family to come with me? Don't you see me taking my whole family to Florida? Last year, I don't know if you guys saw it, but I took my whole family to Yellowstone. Like, my 2 nephews, a cousin, 2 aunts, and my mom to Yellowstone. The year before that, I took 2 family members 2 family members to Alaska, right? Then I took 2 family members to Las Vegas. You know, even on the road as I do the tour this year, I told my family members the cities and states, oh, can we come to the Las Vegas tour date? They're not going to be in that room looking at y'all. They're going to be out there enjoying Vegas. And when I'm done off the stage, they'll be like, let's go eat dinner. Right. And so you have to be able to up here, visualize and write out what type of year you want. It's up to you. It's however you want to do it. Right. And I know I've been kind of all over the place, but I always want to be very clear, right, that all this is your plan. If I start any more companies, I'm already posting online on Indeed, manager for this company, manager for that company. I'm not like, I'm already interviewing guys for the role because guys are like, oh, I get to be a manager. I have a friend who's 48 years old, 49. I think he started 49 this year. His whole dream, his whole life is to be a manager. Now, this ain't no joke to him. But I'm just making fun of it. He's 5'4" and grumpy. And no company's ever wanted to make him a manager. So finally, he's at a company that's like, we will make you a manager. And I said, oh, dude, how many people do you manage? He's like, 1. I manage 1 guy. I'm so happy. You got to understand the power of titles to people are so important that I could go hire a guy and call him the manager and call him the big honcho and put his picture on the wall when the staff comes in. Oh, that's the boss, man. Right? And so use that to your advantage. Use that to your advantage. Do the math on how many sales or how many deals you need to do a week. How many times does your client needs to go out, your staff member needs to go out and knock doors or do whatever, right? So that your guys are busy working. How many YouTube ads or Facebook ads do you need to run to keep your employees busy? And they just are filling out reports. People do this anyway. Then at a big company, they're doing reports. They're typing in information. They got to do payroll, right? They got to do all this stuff anyway. So like, let's stop overthinking it, but really just dream casting what your year looks like. All right. Putting your non-negotiables on there. I have to travel this month. I have to be gone this month. I'm going to be pregnant this month. I'm going to be whatever it is on your list, right? Whatever it is for you, it needs to be up there. And honestly, December right now, we're already behind schedule. I'm in 2 mastermind groups and we charted out till August in the group in November. So you had to sit there and show them what your calendar was going to be to August of next year. You had to show them. So this is why I try to get you guys to understand, like people that are doing business that really want to go somewhere in life, they're charting out next year. Now, things may change, some stuff may happen, but overall, they're charting out next year. I remember having a conversation with somebody about something in June. They're like, oh, I don't even know where I'll be. I don't know what's going to happen in my life. I'm like, aren't your kids going to be out of school? Yeah. Aren't you going to be still living in your house? Yeah. Aren't you still going to be doing this? Yeah. Well, then you know where you're going to be. You know where your kid's going to be. You know where you're going to be. This ideal that I just don't know what I'll be doing next year. I just have no clue. That's just not real. You do know. You're going to be, if you don't know where you're going to be in 5 years, you're already there. It's just simple as that. If you don't know where you're going to be in 5 years, you're already there. You're going to be doing the same things. Your kids will be older. That's it. So I know I've talked a ton. If you guys have questions, this is a great time to have questions because I feel like this mouth peel they gave me is kind of wearing thin. So like I had jaw surgery earlier today. And so if you have a question, it's a good time. Charles, if you have questions, it's a good time because I feel it wearing down a little bit.
Yeah. I hear you talking about employees a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And here a lot of people, they kind of talk about virtual assistants. What are your thoughts on virtual assistants and compared to that physical employee with the service business?
So virtual assistants from right now, I'm from Philippines. They're great. Now they do good work inside of the Facebook group, but the power I have is because the guy is American from Florida and can get on Facebook and just chat all day. And there's not that interruption between language and time zones and all this. It's just him kind of going, hey, what are you trying to do in, tech? What are you looking for? Did you look at this class, that class? Did you have, you know what I mean? And so I think we have this mindset of like, I've always got to hire somebody from overseas. I would say record yourself or document yourself doing things you don't like paperwork wise. And can you give that to somebody? Everybody thinks they want a overseas $100 a week VA, but they might not. They might need an in-person person. right? And I live in Austin, Texas, and so we've got a bunch of kids who are in college who are like, can I do 10 hours a week? Can I do 5 hours a week? And they get to put on their resume that they worked for this company. So my biggest proponent to you is go look on Indeed and go type in executive assistant, go type in personal assistant, go type in administrative assistant on Indeed in your city and see what people are paying and what people are doing. Now you can also go on Upwork and other things, but I really encourage y'all. There's something about meeting in person a staff member and like they know we're on a team together. Like we're in order for you to make bonuses, like we got to do this thing together. There's something about that vibe that's really strong. And it's super important. So listen, VAs are great. I have like 3. We pay them 100 a week, but they're very much like, tell me exactly what to say, Miss Williams. Tell me exactly what to do, Miss Williams. And I'm like, I need somebody who can think a little bit on their own, that I don't have to sit here and hold your hand every day. Like, you're supposed to be sending out emails. You're supposed to be crafting stuff. Like, I shouldn't have to tell you every other Tuesday what you need to be doing with your time. And so once you create and I'm just gonna be careful with this. Once you create a manual of what you do for work, and a person has to come to an office maybe twice a week, they're coming in there, they're getting ready to knock that list out. They're like, boom, 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 boom. The guy who's overseas, who's like, oh, Miss Williams, what am I supposed to do again? What am I like? That drives me crazy because I just already know, like, you know what you're supposed to do. I've already given you your tasks. You're just recopying them. In America, we've been kind of trained in school to be like, what's my top 10 I got to do? I come to work, let me knock this stuff out, I'm done. So I can play on my phone and be on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the difference. So you just gotta be smart about it.
Like, you said something that was really insightful, and it was talking about like the Detroit properties and how you just got to give things time. And we went through a really interesting kind of time period where, like, even though we're through the pandemic, a lot of things are kind of in a weird place. So, like, things that were going really well before the pandemic, or at least functioning before the pandemic, even if they kind of carried through the pandemic, they didn't last on the tail end of the pandemic. And now they're kind of starting to like circle back. And so obviously I've seen with even some of the rentals that we have in Detroit, like through the pandemic and when they're getting unemployment, they're paying, unemployment stopped, they stopped kind of paying, it was slow. And now they're paying. And it just kind of came out of nowhere. There wasn't no announcement, no headline, anything like that. They just started, like, things just changed, people started paying. Yeah. And so I think as entrepreneurs, a lot of times we do expect that straight line. We expect that consistency. And we also expect immediate results. But you're 100% right that you got to give it time. And then also to not get into it if you're looking for immediate money for a lot of different reasons, especially if you're inheriting a property. It's going to take you some time to pour money back into that property to fix all the things they neglected for 10 years. And so it's going to look like the cash flow sucks when in reality, you give it 5-7 years, the property's doubled in value and it's cash flowing strong. You have good tenants, good relationship with the tenants. It's a very interesting dynamic.
We have a tenant right now who, unfortunately we had 2 different property managers steal from us. So every time he get on the phone, he's like, this property manager stole all my rent. Like he tells this story and I'm like, let me tell you something. Don't tell that story again. You have 2 more, like I inherited you. Like I have a what we call an uncle. And so, and I'm gonna just say this and people can be offended and I'm okay with that. I don't live for the likes anymore at all. Trust me. I like myself. Your like is extra. The average house you're going to inherit with a tenant in it is somebody's grandma left a house to them. They're the cousin or the nephew, and they got a family member living in that house. They can't get out because then it would make Christmas and Thanksgiving messy. So they're selling it to you so that you can be the bad guy. And so now here you come telling uncle, hey, dude, I know this was your mother's house. I know this was your grandma's house. But if you don't start paying rent on time, I got to get you out of here. What? This is my family's house. Sir, this ain't your family house no more. You know what I mean? And I'll do everything in my power to get you on Section 8. Now, this man broke his back on a ladder doing construction work. And he paid his rent during that time while he was in the hospital for a year. So I'm always like, listen, what can we do to get you on Section 8? Because then they'll pay me the $1,700 direct and you don't have to move. Even now, he was complaining about his light bill, his energy bill. And I said, cool. Let us go get you on Thaw Detroit. It's like thawdetroit.com.org. They basically, because of his age and his injuries, they're going to pay his energy bill for the next 5 months. So now there's no excuse for you to give me my $550, right? But while we're working on it, you're going to fill out this paperwork for Section 8. If you can't fill this paperwork out for Section 8, I'm going to get this house marked condemned. And then that'll get you out without eviction, without all this long drawn out process, because it takes like 6 months to evict people in Detroit, unless you're going to pay them a lot of cash. The city will come get you out because the house is condemned. And then I'll fix the house up and I'll get a different renter in here. But instead, if you work with me, you fill this paperwork out, you get to stay in the home you loved. You've been here for years. And you get it's new to improve. I get to fix things in here, and you don't harass the workers when they come. We put you on a brand new roof. I want to put you on a new porch. I want to fix your basement. But you have to work with me. And so if you're not willing to be into real estate where you may have to have that conversation, you shouldn't do it. Because even when people talk about, I'm going to buy apartment buildings, I'm going to buy multi-units, you're going to wake up and see a majority of your tenants are older folks who are going to be there for 10 years until they die. It's just going to be a thing. And every city in the country has like a 7 to 10 year wait list for Section 8. There is a family somewhere that will appreciate your dwelling. So, people are like, oh, I wouldn't deal with Section 8. I'm like, it's not always the same. I have a nurse who had a stroke, but she had a mild stroke. And so she's still a nurse. She just has reduced hours. She qualified for a different type of Section 8 in Cleveland, Ohio. Listen, when Section 8 came, they were like, hey, we're going to fail you because the porch paint is peeling. This is happening. This woman came over and painted the porch on her off day. This woman came in and like replaced little knobs because she wanted that place that bad. You want that type of tenant that's like, this is perfect. I want this. I will help you make sure you pass whatever the inspections are. You keep it nice and clean, I'll do this. You know what I mean? You want that. And so you have to understand, especially where the economy is going, if you're not trying, like there's a section of our population, Black, Latino, whoever, they're like, hey, let's get this money, let's get some skills, let's go. But there's a section that's just like, I don't want to do anything different. I just want to stay in this little space and not do anything different. I want to just, again, all these people that left New York, Chicago, they moved to these little nowhere towns and they're like, I just want to stay here and not pay a lot of rent and just chill. Cool. Let Section 8 pay that for you. You can stay and chill all you want, as long as Section 8's paying the full price. I'm okay with it because I know that's a huge part of our society and no one's paying attention to that. We have a lot of older boomers and a lot of people who are going to be 70, 80 years old. Their kids can't handle them. They're going to be at your properties. So this is why I tell people, don't be so thirsty for the, Charles got to step out real quick to make a quick call. Dun, 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 dun. They're going to need to be in your properties, right? So, this is something you need to be prepared for. One of y'all type in a question because Todd had to jump out on the call. One of y'all jump in here with a question. We want to keep it moving. We want to be good hosts for him. Okay. Someone said, Erica, in your opinion, what would you say is a solid annual base income for someone who wants to go on fully funded family vacations every quarter? I'm thinking $200K to $225K. Well, TC, what type of vacations do you consider family vacations? So let's give a range. Somebody who just wants to take their family to the beach and rent a beach space, maybe a smaller house, maybe like a little, thing for 3, 4, 5 days every quarter. What's the cost of that? Right? Someone who wants to go to Florida, 38 Destin, it's a very big, nice Florida beach area, in the spring or in the winter when everywhere else is cold. What's the cost for that? I always tell people reverse back engineer what you want, right? So the biggest thing you want to do is sit down, TC, and go, in my mind, next, like, let's just say this, TC, if you could still type it. What are four vacations that are in your mind? And what are the total cost? So for me, I have this thing about Yellowstone in the summer or Alaska in the summer. I already know Alaska's not going to be cheap. I know Yellowstone's not going to be cheap, but I go glamping when I go to Yellowstone for part of that trip. And I just do the math on it. Like how much is the flights? And because I do this math so far in advance, I buy tickets to places and it's $200 for next year because I'm buying it like July and it's now, right? It's so early back, right? And this is the benefit of buying it so early in advance. That's why you have to plan out your year. Makes it much better. Okay, TC answered. One is the Caribbean. One is Vegas. One day cruise, like a 1 day cruise. You need at least 3 days on the cruise boat, man. You got to get 3. And Lake Havasu Lake House for 1 week. Okay, so TC, what we do is we're gonna reverse engineer. We're gonna say, okay, 7-day cruise. Good, good. That's better. So we're gonna reverse engineer. How much does it cost for you to have a balcony? I don't know if that's a big thing for you. For me, I hate being inside because I can't see the light. I need a balcony. And so how much does a balcony cost? And let's say you have some kids and you want to put them in the second room beside you. Okay, how much does 2 balconies cost side by side? Or do you put you and your wife in the balcony and put your kids on the inside where it don't matter if they got a window? They could just be across from you, right? What's the cost for that? And then how far out in advance do you need that to be? Because really the cost is just getting there. The food's unlimited on the boat. The excursions when you get off on some of these islands is $20. You haggle a little bit, it's $40 for everybody, right? Super simple. Super simple. Now, let's say Las Vegas. Go on Google Flights. This is a big thing I tell people to go on Google Flights, type in where you're trying to go, and put the alert on. Google will let you keep letting you know, hey, that flight you were looking for, it's down $200. It's down $300. And so I just tell you, if you already know the places you want to go type up with like Lake Havasu. I know that's what only in the summer, right? Because of the Indian reservation has rules on the times. So I would go, okay, what's the price in the summer? How expensive is that? And then I would add it into my budget, you guys, because it's really like it's that simple. Like I go to Cabo in the winter, because fishing and the cost and all this other stuff. How much is that? Okay, $300 flight to Cabo. Okay, how much for the week? It's going to be closer to 1,000 plus a week because everybody goes there in the winter. Okay, so now we already know I'm at 1,300. Okay, how much is food per day? Do I have some ideals or restaurants I want to go to? How much is fishing on a boat? 4-hour fishing boat trip? These are things you have to add up, and you just reverse engineer it. That's really how that works. I hope that was helpful. If it wasn't, just let me know. I can kind of break it down more for you. But I always do the math because I never tell people what they should make. I try in my channel the best as possible to say, how do we reverse engineer it? Because I did a thing maybe 3-4 times on my channel where I say, listen, I want to have a massage every week. Let's be honest. How many times do you want to go on a dinner night with your significant other? If you want to take your wife out every Friday for date night, okay, that's 4 times a month. That's 48 times, or what? How many weeks in a year? 52 weeks a year, right? Like, let's say just you take 2 weeks off. 50 times a year, you're taking your wife on a date night on Fridays. What's the math for that? I want to go get a massage every Friday. What's the math for that? I want to have new, et cetera, every couple of months. What's the math for it? Because this is all a math equation. Because either way, either you plan your math or life will plan it for you. Now, what do I mean? We will do little stuff, subscriptions and everything, all the way till we're at the top of our budget. And then get mad at our spouse. Like, why is this budget so crazy? The kids and the soccer and everything. Because you didn't plan the math. You let life plan it for you. So this is all just reverse engineering. Raphael Husbands, what are the dates and cities for Digital Liberty Tour, and what is the theme? So far on the calendar, February 2nd through 3rd is Dallas, which is really Plano, Texas. March 2nd and 3rd, it's actually February 3rd and 4th. March 2nd and 3rd is Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. We'll have Financially Free. We'll have Ray and them from Acre Boys out of New York. The themes are how to create streams of income from your phone. I'll talk about affiliate marketing and how powerful that's going to be this coming year for companies and for you. We'll talk about land flipping. We'll talk about funding, why funding is going to be so important next year. Even if the interest rates dip a little bit, you better get that funding while they dip if you're a business owner. We'll talk about a lot of ways that you can just create like ongoing income, because really you get to a snowball effect and you'll never be broke again. I know people don't believe that, but there's a level of, there are some people on this YouTube that they'll never be broke again. They just got to come out every couple of weeks and go, hey, right? There are people who, one of the ladies in the affiliate marketing group I'm in, she literally has 450,000 people on her email list. You don't think that lady can come out with 1 to 2 things every month that she could email that list on? Hey, this thing that costs $200 and 1,000 people buy it. She'll have unlimited money forever. That's why when people said email is dead, I laugh. One of my special show hosts, Diamond Dave, he could see where the sales for his business were coming from my email list. I have 15,000 people on one email list. I have another email list with another 5,000, another one 3,000. I did this on purpose to kind of break it up. But yeah, so that's part of the theme. I mean, I'm kind of rambling a little bit because this medicine's hitting, but you can always click the links and see kind of more of the themes, right? But again, Las Vegas was March. April, there's a special Texas date, but we're not releasing it yet until we have all the permits and everything we want cleared first. May will be in Atlanta, Georgia, hot Atlanta. I always sell out in Atlanta. And this will be at a really exclusive, nice hotel in Midtown. It's new. People really don't know about it. Every time I go, it's empty, except for the restaurant.
Noble.
No, it's not that one. It's not that one. It's another one. It's in Midtown. It's nice. It's new. It's surrounded by some new buildings. It's like it's off in the cut. You can go see it on our page. Like if you click the link, it's on there. But essentially, this hotel, I'll be like one of their first or second people to do an event there. But it'll be May 4th and 5th. And so May is Cinco de Mayo. So I'm going to wear a sombrero. I'm going to have them serve tacos. We're doing festiveness on that 5th. I'm going to cut up, right? So then June, this is a more elite one, more expensive. It's going to be in Cabo, Mexico. We're going to do June 8th and 9th in Cabo, Mexico. We're going to have a 130-foot yacht we're on. With a drone and a camera and all that stuff. We're going to be in a mansion that faces out the water. I mean, we're going to help you basically film. We're going to film commercials. We're going to film ads. We're going to help you set up your Google ads, your Facebook ads, and your YouTube ads. That's the point of every event, is getting you set up and started so that you can do it on your own. And it's going to be lit. It's going to be smaller. The one in Cabo is only going to be 30 people just because the size of the house is huge, but the people that own it are like, don't y'all get crazy. And so that one's more expensive, but you also get the yacht. You get 4 hours on a yacht. That's 130 feet. I mean, it's got jet ski. It's got everything. It's over the top for that very reason. And then we have July. We're going to be in Banff, Canada. We have a lot of sales in Toronto. So we're going to try to figure out if we're going to make this work, but we're going to do Banff, Canada. We're going to see icebergs. We're going to see some other stuff. And we're going to do really great information from like viewing the mountains. It's crazy, from the hotel we picked. And then the dates that are not locked in yet for the exact time frame, and these are the extra cities, what we call them the extra cities, is DC, New York. I already know we're going to be in New York. We're going to be near Chinatown, I think, or something like that. And Florida. It'll be like Fort Lauderdale, Florida, or something to that effect. And what was the other city or backup city? I know it's like DC, New York, Florida. I didn't want to go to Philly, but people keep trying to get me to go to Philly. We have like 100 people on email. It's like, please come to Philly. I'm like, not really. So that's kind of the dates right now. So the ones that you have a link to, you can click and purchase, they're available. Lloyd Mitchell said, is there a YouTube video explaining how you got started? Man, I do one every couple of years, like an updated one. But I'll probably do another one just because of the time, right? Like came to Texas, worked my ass off, apartment management. I was delivering pizzas at night. I figured out for my company how to start a painting company. And that's hurt. From a painting company, made so much money. My friend was like, hey, do you want to sell me your share of the painting company? Well, what was funny is at the time I went on Dr. Boyce Watkins' channel. I had 600 people pay for a phone consultation. It took me 3 months to get rid of all the phone consultations. And that was the kickoff of a lot of this. And then everything else has been up and down, but a beautiful journey. I've enjoyed every minute of it. So I'll probably do an update video just because I saw you say that. Let me see. Can you talk about Section 8? Is it common for people who qualify for Section 8 not to be informed of their eligibility? Can you talk about seniors as well? Christy Golden, it just depends. I'm not a Section 8 specialist, so I just want to be very clear there. I'm just a business owner who's like, how can I solve a problem? There are 7 to 10 year wait lists on Section 8. There are people who've been working poverty jobs for 10 years now trying to get on Section 8. And so they're just glad to be in your property. My biggest thing is I try to connect. There's 2 times a year where the wait list opens. So I told my tenant, like, hey, you need to get in here. Like this, you're not doing anything all day. You're sitting around playing music, going to play lottery. Every time I go home, see a picture of his house, he has this many lottery scan cards in there. You need to go and call these people and get on this list. If you can't do that, and I've asked you to do it repeatedly, I really have told you 3 months in a row now what's going to happen. So again, it just depends on the city. It really does depend on the city. But I always say, try to find ways that are solution-based for your tenants. Like they're complaining about heating bills, cost bills. Well, let me come in there and let me try to make sure everything's caulked, all the windows work, all this, the basement, the heater, everything, right? Like I did everything on my end because I already know Section 8 is going to come in and check it anyway, right? Do all the windows work? Is there plastic on the windows? Is any, leaking mold, any of that stuff? They're going to go with a fine-tooth comb. And there's only like 16 people across the different organizations in Detroit that are the inspectors. There's one inspector, he is horrible. He will fail you forever. There's another inspector who's big on windows. There's another inspector who's big on doors. You have to know who you're getting, and you can go on Bigger Pockets. You can go in these conversation spaces, and they will tell you, hey, that inspector's going to do this to you, right? Like I had a black inspector for Cleveland. Somebody's like, oh, he's going to be really ridiculous about covers. And I was like, what do you mean? And every single switch where the Hispanic guys had worked and painted the place but forgot to put a cover back over the little electrical plate, he's like, this is dangerous. I'm like, that's a 50-cent cover. Like, relax, dude. So he went through the whole house failing me for covers. And I'm like, it'd be one thing if there's like live wire exposed hurting somebody, but it was like covers, right? There was not a lock on the window. The window lock doesn't work. It's like I failed for that. So you got to understand who you're dealing with. And yes, you want to work with the government, but I would say like for some of the places I've seen where people will spend a lot of money to rehab a house and it's just sitting, you can't get good tenants in it, I would put it on Section 8. If you've done everything appropriately and it passes the bar, put it on Section 8 and call it a day. Thank you, John. John, there's a video that says $10,000 a month is life-changing. Yes, there is a video I have like that. Makes sense. Curious how much you most expensive trip running. I don't have a ton of expensive trips. I'm very much like, people think I'm out here just blowing money, but I'm really not. I literally look so many months in advance. I could look at 4 different hotels, see the prices, compare them, call, complain, all that stuff. And usually I get pretty good deals. It's just because I plan it so far in advance. Last minute stuff is always ridiculous. Like I fly home to my hometown, and I could pay $100 if I pay a month in advance, 2 months in advance. If I wait to 3 days before my flight, it's $387. It's always the same number. It's like the airlines have just decided. And so my thing is like, mind the gap, how much you usually make and what you're deficient on. Because there was one year I went to my accountant and I'm crying. I'm like, I'm so broke. And he's like, dude, you made $450,000. The fuck is going on with your money? And I said, I never want to be in a position where I'm crying broke and I made money. That makes no sense, right? Like like, what are your basics every month? Even millionaires have a budget. Like if you throw 2-3 businesses at me and I'm making $400K per business and I'm still crying broke, the problem is you. And on this journey, I'm not even going to be, I've always told everybody in my audiences, I went on some therapy and it changed my life. Like talking that out, like, oh, okay, why did I do this? Why am I doing this? Oh, that's my excuse. You know what I mean? Like I'm a middle child. I'm a really hard go-getter. I'm super highly educated. So I'm like, not even just highly educated, just like tested really high. So I remember when I told my family I made $1 million, they were like, you should have been already done that. And they said it in such a way, it like broke my heart. Like, you're so smart. You should have been already done that. They're thinking it was a compliment. I'm over here with a broken heart. Right. So you have to check, what is that money? Why? Who are you trying to validate yourself to? Is it yourself? Because honestly, I can now pair, now that I've lived so high, I can pair this thing back to like, I can move further out, have a country house, have a horse or two, and be just fine. Because I've already experienced that, like, I'm flying first class in private jets. Yes, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I've already done that. I don't have a desire or that thirst to be like, I'm a stunter. You know, I'm out of that. I've already done that. I've done it. It's gone. So Slim Thug had a video, how to live like a millionaire in 20K a year. Yes. Because see, what people don't realize is, and I'm not making fun of any creators right now, but there are a ton of creators who bought a home and they've been clowned a little bit, where they changed the background of a wall in their home to look like their old apartment. There's a one dude he literally made $4 million. And they're like, that's not even your real wall anymore, is it? He's just laughing. He's like, we actually cut it from the last place and bought it to the new place. Because there's something about your audience seeing you make more money. It inherently, they don't like, sometimes they're on your team. Like, yeah, make it. You can do it. You can do it. But then when you get to the top, they're like, boo, right? There's something in our psyche that does that. So once you had a house, most of these influencers, once they bought a house, everything else made sense. It was like, okay, well, I got the house. I got a barbecue pit in the back. like there's a bunch of realtors and Instagram realtors right now who you're like, they must be suffering because, you know, people aren't buying homes. They had so much equity in their house, like 150,000, 200,000. They took the equity out of their house. They're like hard money loan lenders. They have little service businesses. If you meet a real estate agent that doesn't have some type of cleaning company, some type of roofing, some type of service business, they ain't a real realtor. And I'm not trying to knock nobody, but every realtor that's big dog money here in Texas that I meet, I'll ask about something. Oh, I got a cleaning company. Let me just book them for you. They already got that because they realize it's not about selling homes. That's just a piece of the component. And that's the same thing with any of these businesses. Once you get that home, you get that car, you got the car, you got the house, a lot of that thirst that people have is gone. After that, it's over. Can you speak on buying properties outside the United States for investments? It depends. It absolutely depends. I've been to Panama, I've been to Belize, I've been to Costa Rica. So you have to realize, especially with Panama, if they say, "Hey, this house is 600,000," and I come back and say, "Hey, I want to pay 300,000," they go, "Okay, deal." They don't have comps in Panama. They're making this up. So when I was taking people on tour, it was like, well, why is this person paying this and this person? Oh, it's just the deal they made. That's just the deal, right? We had a lady pay for us to go on a private plane to go to DR, and I was like, me and my boo was like, we're not going. This sounds like a kidnapping. She's like, no, no, no. I got these cool deals. You can come out here. We can build for cheap and all this other stuff. And so it's whatever. It's however you want to haggle, but it's also what can you enforce? Because there are parts of Boquete, which is in Panama, where people bought land. They didn't consult the locals, consult the other Americans in their space. And some family member came back from the United States 10 years later, said, "Oh, this is my property. You're on my property. This has always been in my family. Ask all the old other people around me. They'll tell you." Now, all the other Panamanians around them that are still there, like, "Oh, yeah, this is their property. They lived here. They just went to the United States to make money. So now you're out of a property if the judge pushes their way." So you got to be smart about how you invest in these countries, and your goal is always for it to make money. But be very clear. This whole wave of passport bros and stuff. This is old. This isn't new. You had people in the 80s doing the passport bro thing, living over there, and now they're getting old. They're selling their properties, and it's just a new wave of people doing it. So I mean, it just depends on the country. I would say my definition of something I would invest in overseas, like so prime for me for Panama, I said, is this a place I can visit 4 times a year or 2 times a year? Right? Even Zanzibar. They kept trying to sell me on Zanzibar. A couple of our influencer friends, like I have 3 different friends trying to, come on, man, just do Zanzibar. And I said, listen, if I can't get to this place twice a year, I don't want to do it. Because their whole hotels for sale for 1.9 million over there. There are whole completed, done hotels that are for sale. What happens is the person had to go back to London, the person had to go back to Europe, the person had to go back to the United States. So they sell their stuff, right? So is this a place that I can go back once or twice a year? If it is, cool, let's invest. If I can go to Belize, Costa Rica, Panama 2-3 times a year, cool. Like there's a girl I know, and we look. If you look at me, this is how they look in Panama. Okay, this is how they look. Okay, like depending on where you're at in Belize, this is how they look. All right, just depending on where you go. There's Mayans, there's Aztec Indians too. So there's different, but most of them look like this. So you go to Panama, they'd be like, "Oh, you here for family?" They'd be just looking at you like, "You here for your cousins? You going to meet your family?" You'd be like, "No, just visiting." "Oh, you want some family?" Like the men there are very slick. It's very funny. But I looked at it as, is this a place I can go often? And so like the Hartmonies, they go like almost every month to Panama for a while there. So is this somewhere you can see yourself visiting often? It has to make sense. Oh, thank you, Brandy. Worst thing about Philly is the Eagles, for sure. They're the worst. They had a couple sitting in the stands and they're just pelting them with snow. And I'm like, where's this snow coming from? And they're just pelting these poor couple with snow, sitting by themselves. These poor Washington Wizards. It was terrible. Any recommendations for planners for entrepreneurs? I have planners I sell, but really it's just writing it down. France doesn't even have an MLS for real estate. Yeah, France lost like 3,000 Jewish millionaires a couple years ago just because things were getting ridiculous. Oh Lord, Charles Ogilvy. Is Cheesecake Factory acceptable for a day? I don't particularly like Cheesecake Factory. I feel like it's old people food. Like my mom likes it. But here's the thing: it's the conversation. I'm always an activity date person. I'm like, let's go bowling, let's go golfing, let's go mini golf, let's go walk town lake, let's go outside somewhere. Let's go play darts, let's go anywhere. If the person doesn't want to eat there with you, you either are not that interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't imagine sitting there an hour with you and being bored out their mind. And listen, and I'm such a nerd somewhat as dating. I bought these little box of cards that help you have conversations, and people laugh, but I was literally pulling from these cards when I was dating my fiance, like, like, and it worked because it was like, I I just talk about business so much. I was in a business mindset. You know what I mean? So, whatever help you need, get it for sure. But honestly, what makes dating better is if you are confident in yourself. Now, what do I mean? Are you going out of the house? Is your life boring? Do you work out? Because like every girl I know that works out a certain amount of times a week, she ain't playing that. She ain't playing no wretchedness, right? Or she goes out and has somewhat of an interesting life. Like you meet people while you're outside. I met my boo at a conference. I've been telling people all the time, like, you're gonna meet people outside. So don't sleep on you. I'm a big independent restaurant person. So I like going on Instagram. I'm all like Keith Lee. Like what is the newest kind of little instant mom and pop place that I can go and eat at and they're good and that nobody knows about them or they're on the up and coming. I like that. And that's because I live in Austin, but I also just that's how I like, right? I really like unique stuff. And listen, it's again, people always talk about money, but it's like, is this person flexible? Can they have a big vision? Can they have a
Why do
big
you
vision?
why do you think the conversation online hinges so much on how much men make? And then also you see these dating conversations, and I know you might see this differently, but a lot of women, their expectations and their standards don't really pair well with reality and what the actual marketplace is of men.
Mm-hmm. So the biggest thing I've talked about with this is so much is when people are broke, they're looking at people as a lifeline, not like a partner, but a lifeline. And then you also have the component like so again, this is a Christian kind of conversation. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I have been like in Christian churches where the singles group is big and busted. It's like, oh, it's going on. What's going on? And the men, like we had a thing one time where they put out the whiteboard and they're like, okay, everybody they start asking all the men what were their things they wanted. And the expectations were so absolutely ridiculous. Like the guy who's teaching the class started laughing. He was like, do you guys even care if she's nice, if she will cook, if she would like, and all the men were sitting there like, oh yeah, that too. Put that on the board. Put that on the board. So you got to realize it's not just women, it's also men that are like going into this. The longer you're single, and this is a person who's in their 30s, I was engaged before, and this is, again, like before this situation, the longer you're single, the more you keep putting up these like, oh yeah, this, I want this. Y'all, anybody you pick, you're gonna have to work with. Anybody. And the funny part about this internet conversation is half these men teaching this stuff online, they're married to single mothers. They were out and about somewhere and they saw a good looking woman and they didn't care about none of that. They started talking to her. Oh, she got a kid. Well, I like how she looks. So let me keep on going with this conversation and end up marrying her. Women. Exactly, John. Women's, right? And so what happens is you have people who are boring. Let's go there for a second. They just go to work, go to gym, come home. Now they're kind of frustrated. They're, sexually frustrated. And instead of going and putting themselves in community like they should, Charles, they should be joining some churches. They should be joining some tennis groups, some men groups, some pickleball groups, something, right? They should be doing co-ed sports because I did that for a few seasons. I'm going to do it again. Sports groups and teams, kickball teams, something with their afternoons where they would feel less frustrated. They've gotten into these internet silos. Like, I'm so great, I deserve this. But when you ask them how much money do they make, they have no answer. When you ask them, which this is a number, this is just documented information, 19 to 34-year-old men, 1 in 3 live at home with their parents. And now people are going to say, well, that's wrong with living with your parents. It saves money. It depends. When 1 in 5 women only live at home, that means the woman you're interacting with already owns her home or lives independently. So I remember this one guy at our church, he broke up with this girl and everybody's like, man, what happened? Well, we finally get it out of him. He told her, well, how much do you need a month? You need like $550. And she looked at him. She's like, no, I have a whole house. Like, if you're coming into my life, it has to be from a perspective of, I am your husband. I will love you. I will take care of you. I'll provide for you. If you fall down and break your leg tomorrow, I don't expect you to go to work. I'm going to make sure it gets done. And so when you don't live in your own apartment or your own space and figure out what the math is for that, you start saying these women want too much. And you're not realizing marriage and life is, I told my significant other, like, listen, like if something happens to me, if I'm pregnant, I fall down, I got high blood pressure, whoever knows, whatever. I trust you with my life that this stuff will get handled. And when I get up and get to 2, there hasn't been a hiccup. Right. I've actually seen people in the military where their spouse died and they left their kids with the person's parents and just disappeared. So you got to know if you're with somebody that is for you and your family. So this whole like what they look like and how they shape, is the man tall? Does he have hair? Does he have hat hair? All this stuff is like so silly. It's sad because it's the sound of someone who they're not living, they're not traveling, they're not going out, they're not having good conversation. And so this is what you're hearing, these echo chambers. I mean, this is just, I'm being careful here, but I mean, a lot of our churches are saying the depression rates and suicide rates of men were through the roof during the pandemic. They were hollering from the rooftops, women won't give us a break. And it's like, bro, you're just lonely. You're upset. Women naturally go form groups and go into groups. Like I go to a Bible study, I go to women's different groups. I mean, like we naturally do that. Men don't always have like the group similar. So you had a lot of men who were frustrated and angry because they're saying, I want this hot chick to look at me, but you're not. Are you going to walk up to her and talk to her? I know a guy friend right now. He's a cute guy and he gets nervous. So he won't ask girls out. He's like, well, if you just ask, if you guys would just ask a guy out, you know, it would make it better. And I said, the type of woman that would ask you out, you wouldn't be attractive to. That's not what you want. Right. And so, unfortunately, this is why I preach so much about economics, is because what you're hearing is someone who's not doing well financially. And so they're upset at life. And if they would just tighten up and get a hobby and improve their money, or at least the option that they could, like, I've got a skill or two, I'm moving up, I have choices. The option makes you feel better, right? Because there's so many women. There's 2 girls I know. All of a sudden they're like, I can't take it anymore. And I said, girl, what you gonna do? They joined the gym. They both lost 40 pounds. They both got married within a year after that. Because men are everywhere. Men just be outside. You know what I mean? You go, men that live a life go outside, right? If you're just outside, if you're at the grocery store, men will just walk up on you. If you anywhere, you know what I'm saying? They'll speak to you. So this whole phenomenon, like, where do I meet people? Do I go to the club? Do I just, no, just go outside. Just go live your life. I've been at jazz festivals. I mean, here's a funny one, Charles. I was in Detroit. I was walking in my car. I went to go get a coffee and I was like, okay, I'm gonna meet y'all at the house. And I'm walking. I think I have on maybe a sweater and some cowboy boots. And his brother's like, hey, sister, hey. I said, oh, hey. And I keep on walking. Baby, you ain't gonna turn around and talk to me. I said, oh, you know, I'm just keep on walking. He said, baby, are you loved though? Anybody love you out here in this world? And I just stopped, Charles. I turned around like, what the? And so this dude who is like, I wouldn't pay you any mind, but now I'm busting out laughing in the street because I'm like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? It just was a hook. You know what I mean? Like, baby, because he was like, you got a boyfriend? I was like, oh, you know, and I just kept walking, but he's like, are you loved? And so it was just funny, but that's the nature of it. Like the Lord has made us like that. Y'all are supposed to be hunters and we are receivers. One of the funniest thing is like women don't understand is like when you go, and this is something I've learned from 2-stepping, and I'm gonna say this and women are gonna get upset. Don't twerk. There's no need for it. It's unnecessary. We see all that booty. Don't do it, sister. Learn how to 2-step and salsa dance. One of the hardest things about 2-stepping is the man leads. And if you don't let him lead, it makes it look like y'all are bad dancers, but the man is always blamed. So I'm here in Texas and I would 2-step like 4 days a week. Huh?
I don't even want to. I want this. This is bars. Keep going. I don't want to cut it up.
So I'm 2-stepping and I got off stage and my friends were like, girl, you got to let him lead. What are you doing? You look terrible. You look terrible. And so I started just relax. This person's in charge. One time I had my friend and I twisted. I tried to do a twirl. He was like, bitch, I didn't lead you into that. And we just laughed so hard on the dance floor because it was like, you're making me look bad as the man because I'm trying to control the dance. And so 2-stepping in Texas, even though people make fun of it, it is one of the times where a nerdy guy who he's nervous, he can't really talk to you, he's sweating. It's the one time he can lead you in a dance. And if you're cool enough to follow, it makes it so beautiful. It makes it so beautiful. And so there's something in a lot of the Black community where people are disconnected from the 2-stepping, which Chicago has a step, what they call stepping, all these type of dances that we've had in our community, and people do this embarrassing twerking, and and what happens is it leads men to like, how can I dance with you on that? I can only dance on your booty because you're just giving me your booty, right? And so it's like salsa, all this stuff. Like I've been here in Texas, and I would go to the Mexican rodeo, which it's called rodeo, but they call it rodeo. And the Hispanic men they'd throw you all over the floor. You're like, oh God, Jesus Christ, oh Lord, right? But you're just following, right? And so there is something about salsa dancing and dancing that is like just feminizes you as a woman. And it's so much easier because it just lets you learn how life is. If you want to dance at the two-step place, you have to stand by the floor, right? And you got to have your hand open. It's a weird thing. You can't sit like this. You got to have your hands open because a man comes by and pulls your hand. And so that's life, right? You want to date, you want to marry, you want to have a kid and family. You got to actually stand by the dance floor and have your hand open. And that doesn't mean two-stepping. That just, it's life. You got to be ready, right? And so even myself, as I started dating somebody, I'm thinking, I am so perfect. I am so perfect. And I'm starting to date someone. I'm like, oh, wait, some things I do are not perfect. And what happens is in our society is when you're dating someone, it's a mirror to yourself. Like all the things you do that are not cute, all the things you do that are not nice, all the bad behavior, it's a mirror to yourself. So you'll notice people that keep jumping from relationship to relationship, they keep seeing a mirror of themselves and they don't like it. But that's something people don't want to talk about. That's something people don't talk about.
That analogy was fire. I'm definitely chopping that up and turning it into some micro content.
I'm gonna chop this video up too. I'm gonna put in a little the little clips, you know. I like the little clips. It's cool. Definitely use opus.pro, you guys. It's saves you all the headache. John said the best for meeting women is horseback riding. Oh yeah. It costs money to horseback ride. So there's some good money out there. Somebody said, leave them alone till you find yourself. For sure. They got to go get some money for real. Yeah. And here's the thing. I hate the game talk and all that stuff. I get annoyed by it. But you have right now men going overseas and be like, I got a passport. What's up? I'm American. And the women are like, ugh. Like, why are you doing that? Like they're openly clowning them online. And what people don't understand is in parts of South America, the single mother rate is 60% down there too. So you're going from one single mother country, I guess, to another. And I just laugh because I'm like, well, she made me a plate. Okay, brother. Like you still have, the mirror is still there. The mirror of who you are as a person is still there. This fantasy that these like Asian and Eastern European ladies are going to kiss your butt just for existing, it doesn't exist. I have multiple family members who are married to international women. That don't exist. That don't exist. Like they're women. This ain't 1982. These are women. So I'm sorry, I'm looking at your comments. I didn't want to ignore them. Okay. For sure. Thank you. Yeah, they're getting robbed all the time. It's real sad. Everywhere you go, there you are. That's the number one thing, Don Bucks. Everywhere you go. It's you. You're meeting yourself. Really. But go ahead. Go ahead, Charles.
Oh, I was going to say, we're going to go ahead and conclude. A lot of great information was dropped here. Make sure you guys check out her digital tour, Digital Liberty Tour. Did you already drop the link in there and show them where they can find the information for that?
Man, I sure did. I can try though. Let me see. Dun, 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 dun.
Sometimes I feel like you might actually, in some sense, be a little bit, because I used to talk about this a lot, like being shadow banned, but it's like I don't really see a lot of your content.
Yeah, anymore. I am. I send too much traffic off the platform, and we had an ad company mess up our platform. So right now on Instagram, I started a new Instagram. So what's crazy is I started a new YouTube channel, and then they took it down. So I was like, oh yeah, I've messed up bad. So what we're kind of doing is like I did interviews with Antoine Daniels and a few other people. Like there's some stuff we have coming up this year in the rabbit hole that we're going to do, and it's going to kind of change that diagram, because I know that's what that is, right? Like I completely know that's what that is. And like once I figured out advertising, oh man, I'm like, bump this, like the retargeting. They're spending like $1 a day retargeting. So now I'm like, and here's a little, like, this isn't secret. David Beck Carroll and his team, I was supposed to go down there and interview with them. So, and that didn't happen. And I know why it didn't happen. We ended up having a conversation about it, but that's separate. But But there's like Robert Roberta with Blake, several big name people were like, Erica, come on over here, come do this show with me. And so we're just kind of tinkering out what shows we're going to do over the next, like, there's 20 requests for me to do these really big name shows. And so it's funny because if someone big name is seeing you and they're requesting you to come to their show, like, you're doing something right. You know what I mean? And so I know I'm shadow banned and I'm not worried about it because now we're going to spend, I think, about 1,000 a week, maybe like starting in January on YouTube, and then like 1,000 a week on Instagram. So, and people are gonna be like, oh, that's too much, I wouldn't do it. And I'm like, I spent, was it $500? Maybe $500 over a month, and we made about 30 grand. So I know it's out there. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I've never been about, oh, being famous, the numbers. I just know I can take one or two of those videos off my channel, and if I run it up to 1 million views, it'll do all the stuff I needed to do. So that's kind of where I am with it.
But I also think YouTube is kind of different now. Like, there was times when I was just dropping videos on YouTube and I would get like thousands of spins. Now I drop stuff and it's like, it's kind of like TikTok. Like on TikTok, every video gets 200 spins.
Yeah.
Except like every now and then one that just blows up. And so it's like
they're opening the door for the advertisers. And so they're doing the whole there's wiping away a lot of stuff, but also there's been like, I can't say their names because I don't want that drama, but I was in a mastermind group with like some of the top 10 Black YouTubers, and they're like, YouTube knows it's an algorithm problem with some minority channels, Hispanic and Black. But this also, because you could be like, oh, change your videos, change your quality, change your audio. They've done all that. They are the best. Like, I can't name their names because you would know who they are. And they've been in talks with YouTube. They're like, they're making so much money with YouTube that they get an actual representative. They're like, what's going on with my content? Grant Cardone is the only person I've seen successfully like argue. Like, he was spending like $500,000 a month on Facebook, something ridiculous, like 250,000 a month on Facebook. And he said, let me tell you something. If my content doesn't go back to where it's supposed to next month, in the next 24 hours, I'm pulling all my advertiser money. All of a sudden, you saw everything Grant Cardone did on Facebook. Like it, so it's, there's people who are spending enough money that they have that power to say something. And so I just realized, I'm like, all right, like, do you want to be famous or do you really want to hit differently, right? Just make your cash and go. And so I'm probably going to spend about 1,000 a week on like 2 to 3 different videos at a time. We have like one ad and then 2 to 3 videos, and we're just going to blow those up, and we're just going to get the income off of it, because it's like a snowball. Once you get to a certain level, there's always like 100 to 200 people a week buying your products and services. It don't really matter. You know? So it's, I mean, look at Aristotle Investments. Even he was complaining about it, and he spends so he gets 1 million views a week. And even he was complaining. So, you know, it's some truth to it. Like, even there's a video I'll put on my wall. I'm gonna share it with y'all again. I'll see if Todd will share, or I'll share it inside the Facebook group. There is the guy, he's kind of balding, but he's got the mustache or whatever. He basically every month posts on 300 or 400 different Instagram pages a month, promo pages. Because he said like they blew up their budget, and Instagram's pissed with them, Facebook's, YouTube's pissed with them. And so they just find ways to go around it. Now you have a lot of people creating theme pages, and this is just something we talk about in digital real estate class. I would go find 30, 40 and just be boom, shot up into the Instagram. And there's a lot of people sponsoring posts. I mean, it's not even expensive, you guys. But I feel like that's where the platform wants it to be pushed towards. Like, you're gonna give me some money. You're gonna give me some money.
Cool. This video should be inside the Facebook group as well. It's on the YouTube. I'm gonna chop it up, get us some clips, post those to the Instagram, and post them inside of the Facebook group as well. And we're gonna continue to just keep pushing through to the end of the year. I like what Erica said about how they're already planning into next year. So,
man, they're already in August, and they roast you in that group.
If you aren't doing it, there's somebody out there who you're competing with who is. So a lot of times, like, people will say these kind of ambitious things, and people will say like, oh no, and blah blah blah, and have all these good reasons, but somebody else is doing it. So if you don't do it, you're just gonna get beat. Any last words before we head out, Erica?
Man, you guys feel free to hit me up on the internet. That digital real estate course, I think, is on special right now. It's like $100. We're doing that because we're running ads, and the ads say it's 100. So that's gonna be for a bit, but literally we teach all this, and that's how that course. You watch that course, you can crack out a Facebook group or crack out different stuff right now. There's really no reason why you couldn't crack out 10K on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube right now a month. There's just no reason. Even if you create Facebook groups, that's a really fast growing way. And then you just work your group. So that's what I have for y'all. Thank you for letting me be on. Thank you for enjoying me during my dental surgery here.
Thanks for coming through. We've been talking about this for a few weeks. I had a few missteps, and so we finally locked it in. So, yeah, I'm trying to come to Cabo. We're gonna be out there. I'm coming one of them days.
I'm just telling. Listen, it's gonna be lit. The house is nice. The yacht is nice. My whole goal is for every person to be able to make an ad for their business while they're there. People just don't understand. Like it's a lot of future and a lot of money out here, especially in 20. Because what's happening right now is next year's an election year, so it's so noisy with the election noise that you can go two ways. You can make money talking about the election, or you can make money giving people the distraction away from the election. And that's what people got to realize. Like I'm seeing like you're going to see the most music concerts, the most events next year ever. It's going to be like, I've already seen Ticketmaster. They are so chock full of events because all you're hearing is nobody has any money. Inflation's eating us out of house and home. But those people are going to be at those conferences. They're going to be at those concerts. They're going to be at those football games. They're going to live their life.
It's going to be such a weird election because like people really have no reason to reelect him
at all.
He's going to get reelected.
The way they're doing that funny business, yes. But that's my whole thing. It's like, what are you doing to prepare yourself, right? If they're telling you the cost of keeping your parents in an old folks home is $8,000 a month, if they're telling you your taxes might go up, if you know your property taxes is going, all this stuff is going up, why are you not preparing yourself for that? They're going to raise the floor on this economy, whether you ready to or not. And I think y'all understand what I mean when I say raise the floor. Like, you used to be able to get by on $60K a year. Your family could do all right. You could be in a small town. It'd be all right. You're going to look up and be like, damn, it's very costly. What's going on? And so
in Texas is really a thing. They raise your property taxes.
So you got to realize some people bought houses where it was just farmland. So the first year they're in there, their property taxes were like $1,000. Well, now you build up a whole neighborhood around them. It went from farmland to now there's like $500,000 homes everywhere. Your property taxes are going to be $3,000 for the year. Now, somebody who just budgeted for that $1,000 is going to be like, what? It was only $1,000 last year. Now it's $3,000, right?
Why wouldn't they keep a portion of it still a farm?
Because usually when they developers buy out farms, like you'll have 1,000-acre, farm people here. So they'll buy out 200 acres. And so you still are backed up to a farm, but to the right and the left of you, somebody done developed now. So now the price went up. Yeah. And a big thing that happened in 2020 is the price of housing was like $250, $247. Because I had a house under contract and the builder ran out of money and they were like, hey, you guys got to close right now. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm not closing on that house. That same neighborhood, November 2020, that same house was $496,000. So you have the average person here in Austin, Texas, who pulled equity out their house, $150,000, $200,000, right? If they didn't sell off, they pulled it out. Okay, right? And so what they end up doing is they're sitting there like, Erica, what do I do next? And you're meeting people who are now, they're realtors, they're whatever in Texas, but they're buying rentals. They're investing in other properties. They're hard money lenders because they pulled this equity out their house. So this was one of the biggest wealth transfers.
That's what they was talking about. Well, one of the things, I guess. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And so if you meet people from, like, I'm meeting groups of white women who've been home, they've been stay-at-home moms, but they told their husbands, we got to pull this equity out and sit on it. And so now they're collecting together 3, 4, 5 women together, and they're buying apartment buildings. You know what I'm saying? They're buying small unit, or they're buying, like, there's a big thing people do here is they'll buy like a 1 acre or 2 acre from a farmer, and then they'll build a cul-de-sac or build a little roundabout on that one street. That's it. So now they've got 10 duplexes that they all rent out. They balling. They don't ever have to work again. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so when people talk about Texas, I go, baby, like, this is a gold mine. It's whatever you want to do with it. Because the Texans didn't plan for this at all. At all. It's just growing. And you don't even need a GC license here to build, y'all. Just everybody underneath you has to have a license. Yeah, that's why all these people came from other states trying to build up Texas.
Crazy.
Yes.
Gotta hop in that before they close that loophole.
Man, right now I found a piece of land for $25K around the corner near Killeen. I looked up, only thing they asked me, this little town, was who's my plumber, who's my electrical, and who was my, what was the other thing they said? They asked me for one other thing, but those three guys had to be licensed. They didn't ask me about the roofer. They didn't ask me about the plumbing. They didn't ask me about all the etc. I just had to have those three guys show me they had license and show that I had insurance to cover it.
What town of Texas that was?
Anytime you go outside a big city, they're almost all like that. That's Harker Heights, but if I go here from Austin and I drive left, right, center, it's a ton of little towns like that. They got like 10 managers. They got 10 city council members. And they're like, what's up? What you need? Like, I'll give you guys a freebie right now. If you want to make real money in Texas coming up, Samsung bought 1,700 acres in a town called Taylor, Texas. And people are already starting to go crazy about it. Samsung told them, say, listen, we're bringing 10,000 Koreans to this area. Now that's the 10,000 workers. That's not even their wives and children. So the town next to them has got like 3 people on city council. And they came to them and said, hey, Thornton, Texas, we're going to bring 10,000 people here. And Thornton looked at them and said, we only have 1,000 people in our town. What do you want us to do? They're like, that's not our problem. We're telling you they're coming. You better figure out how to give people permits and move fast. So there's already people doing YouTube ads and Facebook ads. Like, it'll be like Dale Engineers. Hey, what's up? My name is Harum Kaba, and I'm getting 50 acres with me and my friends. Come join us. And you'll be like, this how crazy it is. They're advertising on Facebook like, hey, 10 of us are going to go buy up 20 acres. Anybody want to come with us?
Hey, yo.
That's what they're doing right now. And so you got to realize when people act like, oh, Texas is overrated, I'm like, if you want to go buy 10 acres over here for $250,000 in the middle of nowhere, now you just have to be prepared to put entitlements on it. And what are entitlements? You got to call the city how much the water, the street cost to get the road in, all that other stuff. And you just got to time it enough and get the permits, pay your little $3,000 for some permits. Well, now that land that you bought for $250,000 is valued at $500,000 or $1 million because you've already got it set up ready to go.
I'm trying to figure out why you and Daniel ain't chop it up yet. I want to see one of y'all live because they do land. That's it.
Who's Daniel?
Hive Mind. Tap in, Daniel.
I see he's got a comment. I'm selling 18 of those Saturday, 10 acres for $250,000. Yeah, that's very common. Daniel, where are you at? You're in San Antonio?
Tap in.
Because literally, you got to realize you have a city full of engineers who are already tired. Pandemic done made them tired. They're making them go back to the office. These guys are making, at my church I was at, the average man at this church, it's called Grace Covenant Church. It's not even a secret. They're right in the middle of all these tech companies. The average man in there was making anywhere from $185,000 to $250,000 a year. So the average family in that church had 4 or 5 kids, and people thought it was hilarious. They're like, how are they affording all these kids? Your husband makes $250,000. You're sitting at home. You just got to take him to school. It ain't that serious. Right. So it's one of those things where you talk to people, you're like Daniel Ruffin. I don't know if you guys know who Ruffin is. Not Daniel. What's his first name? Ruffin, David. The black guy. The black guy.
David Ruffin.
No. He's the dude out of Dallas. He basically ran TV ad commercials across Texas and made like Don. I think it's Don Ruffin. He made like $50 million and he's 25. And so he was running TV ads like, we'll buy your house in the middle of nowhere places, running TV ads. And so he just had his staff calling, closing deals. Like when people talk about, Erica, why are you in Texas? Why are you so hardcore Texas? I go, this is one of the last places where if somebody really wanted to come and change their life, I literally came, no job, got a job in 3 days. I got offered like 10 different jobs on the first 2 days I was here. Got a job at an office, delivered pizzas at night, was able to turn around within the first year and a half. I would say 2 years. Owned a painting company with my friend. We made $350,000 the first year. Bought me out. I blew up my YouTube. I've never had a year since that I haven't made $350,000 a year off YouTube. That's outside of my, like, I over leveraged myself in like trucking and all this stuff. Cleared that out, finishing clearing that out right now as we speak. And now I'm like, I'm going to make 20 million next year, right? Like this is something in our mastermind group. You have to have this lofty goal. You can't do a little goal. They make you do a big one.
Right.
I was like, we're going to do 20 million next year. He said, what's the math to get there? When I did the math, y'all, it was only 1,000 people sign up for this one product I have that I market. It was only build like 10 real estate houses, maybe 15. It was on 2 service companies. Like the math was like nothing. It was nothing. So really, when I say it's just that simple, it's like, how committed are you to it? Do you really want that math? Because right now I have friends who fly in from New York.
No, but it's somebody asking you what the math is.
Oh, somebody asked me right now?
No, I'm just saying, because
in the group?
a lot of people don't get asked that in their daily life. Like, what's the math for you to not have to work no more? Like, what's the freedom number?
Well, not even just freedom number, what's your thrive number? Because we can get free off like 2K. You hear some people like, I can just get free off 2K. But what can you thrive
but
on?
then because you know, that's the stepping stone. But a lot of people don't even get to the first one. Like, they don't get free because they never considered that freedom number.
Right. I think a lot of people just think about quitting jobs. Like, okay, I don't want to quit my job. I'm like, what else other than quitting your job? What's your other why?
Yeah.
It's got to be more than that. You know? So it's all the math thing. And that's why I told people when you get on the road, we'll have more in depth, like diagrams and like booklets, and we'll show you our plans and all this other stuff. But my biggest hiccup was like not realizing the power in hiring a CFO and a CEO, which is something I'm gonna plan on doing next year, because really I want to kind of pull off my YouTube and just run ads to a lot of this content and just be peace out. And they only cost like $4,000 a month each. And so somebody's gonna be like, well, why would I pay somebody to do this? And I'm like, the CFO, their only job is to make sure you get all the loans you need to get, all the finances you need to get, any tax breaks they can find. That's their job. That's all they're doing, is finding tax breaks for your company, making sure your books are right. That's their job every day they get up. That's it. That's their job. Your CEO is just making sure, okay, how are the ads running? How's the numbers? What are the KPIs? Right? Because there's people right now who are on YouTube who, in a 2-year window, they got like 5 million views, right, off YouTube. They pulled maybe like 10,000 people. Like, I'm gonna use Ryan Pieta, and I'm sorry, Todd, if I'm going too long. But Ryan Pieta has an event he does. He brings 1,000 people at $1,000. That's $1 million event. He plans on doing that 4 times a year. So why do you want to come to WealthyCon in Las Vegas? It's who's who who got money and partnerships. That's how it's pitched to you. So you have 4 times a year, this guy's gonna have 1,000 people show up and spend $1,000. It's $4 million right there, right? Then you're not even talking about he owns 5 other companies that his sister manages one, and he has a different CEO that manages other ones. Again, it depends on the math you want to get there. It's all the math. So hopefully that wasn't too long for you guys. I know it's been a long 2 hours, I think. Or did we go 3 hours? I'm sorry if it went too long. Go ahead, Todd. Charles Millie.
We needed that.
Did Charles go to sleep? He went to sleep on us.
Hell no, he ain't go to sleep.
Probably tweeting right now. I'm not even on Twitter. I'd be like, I ain't got time to argue with y'all today.
Nah, you just dropped hella jewels. You said Taylor, Texas?
So Taylor, Texas is where they bought 1,700 acres. They're building Samsung out there. Their other Samsung factory is huge. It's already a huge factory they have right now. One of my friends that I actually lived with, she was my roommate. Her job paid her $195,000 a year. She was the highest paid woman at Samsung. When she got ready to leave, they said, "Listen, we'll pay you $250." What do we got to do to get you to stay? She was the water waste management guy. So basically, they take water from your city and they make different products and services. And then she had to make sure the pH was right when it left. So when it got back into the waterways, it had to be drinkable, basically.
I thought you said she worked for Samsung.
Yeah, Samsung. Samsung's factory. Yeah. So Samsung's factory that they have off Palmer Lane, it's around the corner from me. It builds all kind of things, chips, phones, you name it. It's building it over there. So they need water because when you got these chips and all these things,
water is power.
Yes, water is powering things, is cooling things off. Like one time they had a spill. The guys, and there's no disrespect to men, They just took a bunch of napkins and cleaned up the chemicals and put it in a pile. The pile caught on fire just because the combination of stuff. And so not only did this happen once, this happened twice in a 2-week window. They had to fire like, no, in Austin. So they have, Samsung already has a building here. Go look it up. It's Samsung. It's huge. It's off Palmer Lane. It's so big that they're building a domain across the street. If you guys have never been to Austin, we have a thing called Domain.
Didn't Tesla move down there?
Yeah, Tesla's got a building that's along a mile. If you ever come to Austin, I'll drive you over there, but you can literally leave our airport and go right instead of left. Like left is going into downtown. Right, you're going to drive this thing called the Hog Highway, the 130, and you will drive past Tesla, and it's just like a mile of building. And there's just hundreds of trucks. Like you'll look to the left, they've got a parking lot of 100 semi trucks that are just bringing in stuff all day and building and constructing. So when people sit here and go, oh, yeah, you know, Texas,
let's
y'all
be
overrated.
Clear.
It's great.
Let's be clear.
Mm-hmm.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. They moved from Cali to Texas for tax purposes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
but he's in 3 different cities. He actually built something down in Buda, Texas, too, which is 30 minutes south of here.
So Texas, what kind of taxes is it? What, free?
So we don't charge you any income tax. It's
no
only
income tax.
Property tax and sales tax. So imagine I come here and there's an area that's a loophole where Elon Musk has his house. It's on the water. And only people that used to live on the water was poor white trash. And so the city was like, listen, we're not going to collect your trash. We're not going to give y'all services. We're not going to help y'all because we don't want you living on the water. And we done told y'all. Well, poor white trash lucked out because they said, well, we won't tax y'all at all because we won't give you services. Well, guess what happened? Wealthy millionaire people came down there and said, hey, Mr. Poor White Trash, here's $10 million. I'll buy your land from you. And they built $1 million mansions along the water. Well, the city, of course,
still
is
no
pissed.
taxes.
No taxes. Because remember, the city had made a promise. We're not going to service y'all. We're not going to give you trash services. We're not going to do anything.
And rich folks can get their trash taken out.
They don't care.
And
that's a lick. There's so many black men I met who own trash companies. They go and buy one trash truck and they go buy a bunch of them trash cans, give you the trash can, tell you to put it out on Mondays or Tuesdays, come pick it all up and charge you up $100 a month. So imagine they get 1,000 homes that they pick up trash from. You do the math. And that's why when people say, oh, Texas is so da da, I'm like, baby, if you're in Texas and you're doing bad, it's because you're choosing to do bad. I mean, like even in Dallas, if you drive Dallas Metroplex has more people than 31 states in the whole United States. This is why when people say, Erica, you just hyping up Texas. And I'm like, I meet black people right now who live in Houston. Their mom and dad left them a house. So one girl's got 2 houses, other girl got 1 house. They rent their houses out for $3,000 here in Austin. Paid off house a month. They live in Houston. The one girl's making $6,000 a month off 2 paid off houses. The other girl's making $3,000. They just enjoying their life in Houston.
That part.
You know what I mean? God. So people have to understand, like, when I talk about wealth transfers, I talk about if you don't own property here and you're telling me I'm a 5th generation Texas, I do this, I do that, baby, like it don't matter. Because somebody else can come in here and buy land and they really is a Texan.
That part, because what you was doing the whole time.
What was y'all doing for 5 generations? Nothing. Somebody said I was just in Dallas, Fort Worth a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. She ain't lying. Them people living. They living. Listen, and this is the funny part. I meet so many black people who will come here from Pittsburgh. Like I'm here in Austin and I'll meet people and they're from everywhere. I go, hey, what made you come down here? Well, I looked online and the house was giant for $185 and I bought it and moved down. I said, I'll figure it out because it's so cheap at the time. Now it's more expensive, but at the time they were like, I'll figure it out. I'll do that, but turn around and rent it out. I'll do that. Right. Or I'll meet people in Dallas and I'm like, hey, where y'all from? Oh, we all from Detroit. My cousin came down here and bought a house. So I came out and bought a house. Now, the average black person you're going to meet in Dallas is from LA. They're from the West Coast and New York. If you go to Houston, they're from all over. It's like Atlanta part 2. A lot of people you meet are anybody under 32 is like Houston, right? People that are a little bit more bougie, a little bit more like, sophisticated, they're going to go to Dallas. So Austin gets a bad rep because we're a college town and they're like, oh, there's nothing to do. And I'm like, if you're a water park, outside, outdoorsy person, this is a perfect city. It's nonstop music. nonstop outdoor activities, but most people want to be clubbing and goofing off, and so they don't choose Austin. So someone said the last question. Go ahead.
Yeah. Somebody else can go ahead.
Texas is so good for veterans. I recruit a lot of people in the military.
Mm-hmm.
I have people go to Texas, establish residency before they join the military, because Texas has special benefits that if you join from Texas, you're eligible for them instead of just move there when you get out.
So if you're a veteran and you come to Texas,
benefits and stuff like
you automatically get 1 acre of land.
Yeah.
You're a veteran, you come to Texas, you automatically get 1 acre of land. It's absolutely free because you're a veteran.
And they have their own GI Bill benefits.
Their own GI Bill. So there's a black guy I met. He was in Florida and he was going to school. And the financial aid office basically cussed him out. They said, "Do you understand you're from Texas?" He's like, "What does that mean?" He's like, "We have the Brownwoods bill. You don't pay any money. Take your stupid self back to Texas and go to school, any school you want for free. You can go to the most expensive school in Texas that costs $100K a year. It doesn't matter. You are free to go." So he left Florida and came back home for that. But that people don't understand, like, people don't know their benefits. People don't look it up. But yeah, I've met like 3 veterans now who bought a 1 acre land lot out in Buda, and now they're building like 2 houses on it and leaving it because they changed it, the zoning and stuff, and they left. So they sold them. But somebody said, last question, Erica, if the niche is right, are faceless YouTube channels still a viable option to generate in decent revenue, 15K a month or more? Ty Cook, they are, but here's the thing. You build the speed of trust with your face, right? And so here's the thing with faceless YouTube channels, they've got to be super talking about celebrities, talking about goofy stuff. The whole faceless niche, like right now you can go check out All Things Real. He talks about this. He had 62 channels he tested with the faceless voice alterated thing. Only 2 of them hit like 60K a month, right? But imagine creating 60 freaking YouTube channels to try to see which one will hit. My thing with the faceless thing is you can go hire an actor to go be your person on your channel and call it a day. I have a friend whose wife doesn't like being in front of the camera. They hired a woman that looks similar to her with curly hair, and she does the YouTube channel. So like they still make money. You know what I mean? Like they still make money. And so there's this kind of like, I want to be nameless, faceless. If you want to be nameless, faceless, I would strongly recommend like Instagram, because you can make a theme page. You never have to show your face. Just business theme, animal themes, travel theme. You never show your face. Now, if you want to do new doom and gloom kind of topics, I would say if you want to do nameless, faceless, do a British accent. I don't know what it is about British accents, but people love hearing doom and gloom news from British accents. It's crazy. I don't understand it. Why? They love it.
Where you get these analytics?
For what? For you can.
If you was just saying like how you know like what British accents hit, like you seen something that.
I'm in a couple of different groups, but also if you go on AdTubeBuddy or vidIQ to your browser, there's software apps. Now go look up like 10 different British channels, and you can see the numbers, the velocity. You can see like what words they're using, all that stuff. Another example of this is the hoof trimming channels, right? So there were guys in America hoof trimming. It's not nothing new. There's 5 British guys who hoof trim, and it's their accent, and they make millions a month off these videos because they're talking over the video with the British accent, and they're like, "We went to this farm," and blah blah blah. And it's like, even there's a black woman who she's not an ugly woman, she's a decently looking woman. She reads like the news with this British accent, and she makes crazy money. There's another girl, she talks about dating, and she's like, "I'm not conventionally attractive," but she has this British accent and she has crazy numbers. There's a white girl who is in Spain right now, right? Now, I don't know if you guys understand Europe, but you can catch a train. You can hop down the street for $30 on a train and be in another part of Europe and be taking pictures on a balcony somewhere, right? And so she teaches, this black lady in America taught her what to say and how to dress. So she started going and she's like, "Hi, ladies, I want to show you the elegant life." And because people don't realize how close Europe is, it looks like every other weekend she's traveling all over Europe, living an elegant life. And really, she could be broke as a joke, just putting on a nice dress, going to eat at different restaurants, because that's how close Europe is. The different countries are. And so she makes a ton of money, but it's a big thing. It's like there's 2 guys who live in America and they have British accents and they talk about the stock market. One's Turkish and he lives in California, San Diego. No, he lives in LA. He's Maverick of Wall Street. He talks about the stock market. Then there's another guy who lives in San Diego and he has a British accent. And I'm telling you, the metrics on their channels is so insane. And I think it's because of the British accent. It's like we can't pinpoint exactly what it is, but it's the British accent. Also, people who start channels in LA or New York get really good metrics. And you got to realize where were the two headquarter office for Google a long time? New York and LA, Anaheim, basically. So it's all algorithm. It's all algorithm stuff, but I want to bore y'all to death. But any other questions? I know Todd done fell asleep over there. Todd, did you go ahead to put the baby to bed?
This was fire. Like, I can go all night.
Todd Millie, Charles Ogilvie.
Agent Charles Ogilvie.
It's actually, I think he changed it to Todd Billy.
It's possible.
Dig, like, man.
So I hope this was all helpful for you guys. But yeah, affiliate marketing,
Yes, thank you.
Super easy. All this stuff.
Remember, you said
easy.
vidIQ and what was the other one?
vidIQ and TubeBuddy. They have free versions and they have paid versions. You literally can piggyback off people.
Good.
He's asleep. It's all love. Probably is. He work a job. I'm gonna give it to him. But okay, you guys, listen. I hope this was helpful. Hope this was good. I'm gonna click out of here. I think we're gonna end it. I guess did he make me a host? I don't know. But I'm gonna end it. So you guys, thank you for letting me come in. Thank you for enjoying. You guys have a wonderful evening. You guys have been a blast. Later.
Thank you for all the gems. You did
for
great.
sure.
Thank you, lady.
Thank you. Appreciate
and you guys can email me at
Feel better.
admin@classyclimtx.com. My VAs will send it